Welcome, everybody, to Crunch Time with Jeff, Booner, Lukas, and Gentry. It is Tuesday, April 23rd, and we got a packed show planned for you guys. 2 guests today, like I told you guys yesterday. On top of that, we're one day closer to the NFL Draft. If you're listening on YouTube, watching on YouTube, subscribe, like the stream. Helps push it out in the algorithm. We're almost at 6,000 subscribers. I think we're like 100 away. So we're trying to hit this. We're trying to get to 6,000 before the NFL Draft. Please do that. If you're listening, any podcast platform, leave a 5-star review. We much appreciate it. And also, before we get started, I want to say this. We got the tickets still for sale. Couple left. For people that are going downtown and you don't have an idea where to go, although you won't get the VIP wristband that comes with all the perks, you can still get into bookies, by the way. You can still get in. You have to wait in the line. There's no promises, but I think cover isn't that much. It's I think it's probably less, maybe less or more, around $20, but you can still come in and hang with us. I want to make sure. So people that, don't want to spend the amount of money on the VIP that comes with all the perks and stuff like that, you could still come hang with us. I want to make that very clear. But fellas, sure. It's getting here. Thursday's almost here.
Hey, I was talking to Gentry before the show. When we're going to be downtown all day Thursday, I'm going to make sure the one thing I'm really excited for. I'm like, yes, the picks, the Brad Holmes picks, all of that is exciting. I cannot wait to have the blue Kool-Aid again in my hands. I've been waiting since, when was the last win that the Detroit Lions had? I don't even know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. That was the last time I had Kool-Aid in my hand. I will be bringing the Kool-Aid with me everywhere downtown. I will have the pitcher. It will be with me everywhere downtown. I will have it at the event. I'll have it at bookies, whether you get in for the not a VIP, whatever it is. If you're there, I will have that. I cannot wait. That's all I'm excited for Thursday.
We're making an intro. We got to make like an intro edit for it, Boone, of you like cooking it up and then have you walking down the street with it as the finale.
I'm in for that.
He's having withdrawals.
That's all I've been waiting for. It's been months. It has been months, man.
Yeah,
I cannot wait.
It's like relapse, but in a good way. It's like a good relapse. Like we need more Kool-Aid. It's not a bad thing.
Not every relapse is a bad relapse. I'm kidding.
I'm excited. I'm excited, fellas. I was talking to Scotty. I mean, like I said, there's going to be a lot going on. I know bookies downtown is going to be crazy. They're already blocking off roads, so it's going to be a mess. But in a good way, though. It's all for a good cause. It's the NFL Draft. There's a spotlight on Detroit, which is a great thing. So I can't wait.
I can't wait. Pump the city up too this week. A lot of people from out of town are going to be here. What is it, like 400,000? It's one of the biggest events outside of maybe the Super Bowl in any sport. So the city getting that is unbelievable. That is huge for the city of Detroit. Everything needs to be positive, in my opinion. It's like there's been this buildup of Detroit the last 5, 6, 7 years, and it's all like accumulated up to now to where an event like this.
It's huge. The hype. I mean,
what was that, Klotz? What was that?
I just thought 5, 6, 7 years was kind of dramatic, but hey, if you float your boat,
well, I mean,
go for it.
What do you think? Longer?
Shorter. The build up in Detroit, man. The Lions just got the playoff win.
No, I'm talking about the city of Detroit. I'm not talking about the Lions. I'm talking about the city of Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Rebuilding, new buildings, getting everything.
Fair.
The building.
Fair.
I love it. I love it. Even Coach Walk, he says, we are Ubering down there. Parking will be horrible and expensive. Very smart coach. Coach Walk, we gotta link up with Coach Walk.
I would love to meet Coach Walk, man.
We'll be walking around. We'll probably get there early. And then obviously the show and the party doesn't start till later. They'll be partying at bookies, but we'll be probably walking around. So hopefully we run into some of you guys who are also down there. So
you'll be able to hear Booner from down the street, probably just talking, just having a conversation. Sure. You could probably hear him across the fucking city.
He's bringing the juice. Yep.
Yeah.
That's Boone's job. You and Boone bring the juice. That's what we're going to do. I can't wait.
The fans better bring the juice, and I don't want anyone to mute the fans. How about that?
No, well, here. Great segue.
No one should mute the fans.
I saw this, and I want to get this out the way so people can get mad at me at the beginning, so later on we can all kumbaya. We'll just get this out the way really quickly. And I love Jim Costa. That's my guy. But I saw this tweet, and I saw it trending around Lions Twitter. He posted it. It reads, time and place. Jared Goff chants are the perfect way to greet Caleb Williams Thursday night. Welcome to Detroit. Welcome to the Lions division. Welcome to Jared Goff's house. It's not about your guy. It's about our guy. Same energy as the first playoff win. And then I saw trending on Twitter, I saw, do the Jared Goff chants, when Caleb gets picked and it's the biggest moment of his life. And we're just going to chant Jared Goff, Jared Goff. And I get
biggest moment of his life. Who cares?
And I get the premise, it's Detroit. Hell yeah. There's going to be some booze, all that stuff. I understand that. I don't know about this one, fellas. To me at least.
I'll let you guys go. All three of you guys just go.
Well, no, it's not.
I'll take over.
And I don't want this to be like, it's not even a Caleb Williams thing. It's like any quarterback. I mean, they take Will Reichert, kicker out of Alabama. I would be still sitting there like, why are we booing? You can boo the commish.
This is such an unbelievable thing.
But
from you.
I don't know. I don't know what. I get if it's a game, it's a regular season game, playoff game.
No,
like draft. What?
You go ahead, Lucas.
It's corny.
Welcome to having a good franchise, Jeff. Welcome to having a good franchise.
It's just corny. What team has ever done that? The
Chiefs. They booed when they booed picks last year when the Raiders picked.
But they weren't Patrick Mahomes. You can. There's just a level to it where it's like. It almost just shows insecurity, in my opinion. As a fan base, I'd be like, if I was another fan base and they're chanting Jared Goff, I'd be like, why the fuck are they chanting Jared Goff? Jared Goff's a good quarterback, but I'm sorry, this is Jared Goff City. This is his right now, his franchise. I'm not denying that, but it's just Jared Goff isn't some guy that's gonna strike fear in anybody's heart when you chant his name. I understand that this is Jared Goff's town. I think the city acknowledges that, but chanting it at Caleb Williams. I don't see what you gain from that. If anything, you put an extra edge under Caleb Williams' shoulder, which in my opinion, you don't need. A lot of
SOL people here.
That moment, I think would more so, when Caleb Williams gets drafted, and they're like, "What was that moment where you were the number one pick? You didn't really need that chip on your shoulder because there was no disputing." And he was like, "Yeah, when you get picked number one and they're chanting Jared Goff." During when I get drafted, that's gonna piss somebody off, and I just think there's chant hutch.
All right. You
Hutch or Hutch. You hear that
point.
instead of Jared Goff. I even still then I'm like,
it's just.
We get your point, Gentry. Go ahead. You be the third one.
Before you go off, I do think it is a little corny. I mean, there is probably times when the commission is talking, you could just blurt out Jared Goff, but I know it is probably fun to troll Bears fans, and I'm all for that, I guess, but. Just let Caleb Williams have his moment. There'll be different times.
No one want to hear that either. Jeff.
There'll be different times to chant Jared Goff. It's a little corny, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Celebrate going. No,
if it happens, it is what it is. I mean, but my opinion, it's a bit corny.
This is the worst. This is the single worst. And I told Jeff this. He got mad at me. Single worst take, in my opinion, I've ever heard in sports. You have a rival football team in the NFC North picking number one overall to get their franchise quarterback for the next 10 years. You should have any chant you want. You should be able to scream whatever you want at the guy. Who cares if it's his moment or not? He knows what it is. You're in the NFL. This isn't elementary school where you're giving high fives and giving participation medals out. No, go out there. Chant Jared Goff. Jared Goff is your franchise quarterback. They're about to pick theirs. What are we doing here? Let the people chant.
You don't ever hear anybody chanting the starting.
Hold on. Jeff, what are we sitting here trying to gatekeep people chanting Jared Goff for?
No,
you can do it all you want. It's just
fans have some fun.
No.
Let the fans have some fun. Let the fans they want to enjoy something. Why can't we enjoy something? Why can't they enjoy something without anything that happens in this town when it comes to, let's chant this, let's do this, let's do that? There has to be someone out there negative saying, why do we have to do that? Get off my lawn. Get off my lawn. That's SOL stuff. Let the fans go out there and boo Roger Goodell and let them go out there and chant Jared Goff. Let them celebrate their quarterback. Let the city celebrate Jared Goff. How about that? Huh? Why can't they celebrate their quarterback? Who cares? Don't let him have. And then Adam, of course, Adam's on the it's corny, weird energy. You have weird energy, Adam. You're corny.
So can I go? Am I good?
Yeah, keep shooting down the fans. Let's keep this train going.
Again, you can. I only said about 10 words, but I'll keep going here. I think I'm not gatekeeping anything. Fans can do whatever they want, right? Like, I don't care. I just think the chanting Jared Goff to me is a little corny. I mean, if you want to boo it, fine. It's just like when I saw it, I was just like, why? Like, I don't
too much.
Why can't you chant like "fuck the Bears," Boone? I feel like even that.
You could do that too. If they did that, I wouldn't complain either. If it's Jared Goff, if it's FTB, if it's booing, if it's saying a chant, I don't care what.
It's just corny. That's all.
It's not corny. They
chanted Jared Goff. You know what?
Were they corny chanting Jared Goff at a Red Wings game?
See, now you're getting
No, I'm just saying they chant. The thing has been chanting Jared Goff's name because he's been a franchise guy. Why can't they just do that? Who cares?
It's not even. And again, this isn't even a Caleb Williams thing. I just think, like, again, it's whoever the Bears. I don't care.
It's the fact. It's the fact that they're drafting their franchise quarterback in your city. Why don't we show them who our franchise?
You don't have to make it about you. Like, you just.
Oh my gosh! It's in Detroit. It's all about us. What are you talking about? That's the biggest SOL BS that I've ever heard in my life.
Why is it SOL? I mean,
like, enjoy the moment, dude. The Lions are hosting an NFL draft. The fans are all going to be there. You can chant Jared Goff if you want to celebrate your quarterback when your rival is picking theirs.
No one's saying you can't. We're just saying it's corny.
It's not corny. This is unbelievable for you guys.
That's what we can agree to disagree.
This is Booner Path. Oh, the Booner Path stinks energy from Jeff Iafrate.
How does this have to do with the Booner Path? I'm just saying I saw something on social media and I just looked at it. I'm like, ooh, that's not something I'd be.
They could chant Dan Campbell for all I care. None of it's corny. Go chant what you want. If you want to chant Jared Goff, chant Jared Goff. I don't care. Why are we shooting down the fans for wanting to chant their quarterback? That's more corny than actually doing it.
I'm not shooting down fans. I just said I think it's a little corny.
Yeah, and I think that might be the worst from all of you guys I've ever heard in my life.
But I never said don't do it, and I never said it's just to me. I mean, my opinion.
And shout out Mike Reed. I'm not even going to go there. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to.
Boo the commish, boo his ass. Boo whoever you want to boo. Like they're like, yeah, let's make sure everyone's chanting Jared Goff. Just be so loud that they can't. Like,
of course, you're on this side.
Who cares? I mean, who gives a shit when he comes?
Dude, I'm just so tired of people just complaining about the dumbest things. Saying the dumbest. Let the people have some fun, dude. Same with Costa. Costa complaining about a month ago, complaining about them chanting Jared Goff at the Red Wings game. Let the fans do what the fans want to do. We haven't had this in Detroit.
Yeah, I never said they can't do it. Again,
quit saying it's cringe. Quit saying it's corny. Quit saying it's weird energy. It's not. We have a good franchise. Adam, you have weird energy, and you're the most cringe dude I ever met in my life. Cut your hair.
Hey. If you disagree with me and you say Jeff, that opinion is stupid, okay, I still think it's corny. Like, it doesn't change. You can have your opinion, I'll have mine. I'm not going to be chanting Jared Goff there. But
guys didn't need to get me going this early in the show. I did not need this.
It's all good. No, and again, Blue Lantern. I'm not saying they should sit with their.
That's what I said, Blue Lantern. When he told me this today, I said, "Okay."
It's just specifically the Jared
congratulations, congratulations, Chicago Bears! You just got your franchise.
No, I didn't say that. You can boo the commish. You can boo whoever.
You can do what you want. The draft is in your city. If you want to chant your quarterback's name, all of you should do it.
Yeah,
don't listen to these losers on here right now.
You gotta admit, Booner, if you were watching the draft, let's say it's in Philly, same draft is just in Philly. The order's the same, and the Washington Commanders select Jaden Daniels, and all you hear is Jalen Hurts.
It's different. It's different. You're not thinking about it the right way. It's so different because Jared Goff got traded here and everyone hated him. And he just won the first playoff game in 30 years for the Detroit Lions in the first division in 30 years.
Yeah, he's great.
It means something to have a quarterback that did that to you. It means something. They love him here. And if they want to go chant his name and they want to do that for him because he just did that for the first quarterback to ever do it, let them do it. Let's stop being the Karen on your front lawn telling people to get off your lawn. What are we doing here?
I just gave you my, I'm not.
Your opinion is a Karen opinion. Adam, your opinion in the chat keep coming at. You've been a Karen your whole life, Adam. I know who you are, Karen. Lucas.
Yeah, this is kind of like
as a Booner Path executive. I expect more out of you to let the people and let the fans do what they want.
This is I think less of a Karen thing.
Is letting the fans do what they want.
This is like less of a Karen thing. It's more like you see your buddy or your brother or something like that. That's like just
No.
acting a little strange. You're like, hey, bro, cut that out. Like, it's fine.
No,
yeah,
it's
I mean,
not.
you can keep doing it because it's not me. But if I'm you, I'm like, hey,
if you want to be an executive, a part of the Booner Path, part of the Booner Path is being one-on-one with the fans and saying, hey, if you guys want to do this, go do it. The only time we go at the fans and say, hey, we need to get locked in is if they try to go at Brad Holmes and they try and say negative things. That's
Booner,
what
would you say I'm a Detroit Lions fan?
Yeah, but the Booner Path
so
thing is starting to question a little bit with
There's different types of fans. There's different types
of
fans.
There's not different type of people on the Booner Path. We are all lockstep, and we are all in one army to go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Adam wishes he could be on the Booner Path.
Let's be okay. I got to. Now I let you guys. I don't hate anybody for doing it. I'm not going to go up to people and say, "Stop that!" Like that's a Karen. That's a Karen right there. Hey, knock that off. Hey, don't stop. I don't care. I saw it, and I'm like, hey, I wouldn't do that. I don't know how it kind of relates to what's going on, like chanting Jared Goff. It's the NFL draft, like it's Caleb Williams, whatever. Have his moment, whoever. JJ McCarthy. I don't care who it is. Like boo the commish, do the normal things, but it was just kind of odd. I saw like why would chant? What? Let him know whose city it is, dude. He's in Detroit. He knows whose city it is. Like, what are you talking? Jared Goff's the quarterback of the Detroit Lions. Like, you're gonna see him this season, and you're gonna whoop his ass. And you're
There's a lot of Karens. I thought I had better people in my life.
All it is. I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. It's not even about me trying to gatekeep or anything. I mean, it seems like you're calling me negative.
I respect, and Jeff, I want you to know this. I respect your take on this. I don't want you to think I don't. I respect your take. If you think they shouldn't do that, I respect.
This is the worst take I think I've ever heard in all of
sports. But Jeff, I respect
Get off my lawn.
I respect you. I respect it.
Karen.
But it is the worst take of all time. Let the people be people. We have a draft in Detroit. Enjoy it.
Yeah. And again, I'm letting them be people. They can do whatever they want. I'm not gatekeeping what they're doing. I just gave my opinion, my personal.
And by the way, boo Roger Goodell. That man lost us a football game in December. And then he came to Detroit to promote the NFL draft like a week later at Ford Field and was like, oh, the refs did nothing wrong. Boo that man.
Yeah, boo that. I don't care who the hell you boo. You boo Caleb. That's just the Jared thing. I was like, okay, well, we'll see. Who cares? I'm not going to be I'm going to be at the bookies anyway. But Xavier Legette also will be in Detroit. He should be chanting Jared Goff when he gets into the room with Brad Holmes. Maybe boost the stock up a little bit. But he visited, top 30 visit. It's the second time Xavier Legette has met with Brad Holmes. He met with him at the Combine, and now he visits Allen Park to meet with Brad Holmes once again. Lukas Klotz, we're getting closer, and it's just like you're speaking it into existence. I don't know how comfortable I am with 29, but I would love Xavier Legette as a Lion. You've convinced me.
That's the name everybody should be chanting during the draft. The X-Man, Xavier Legette, the dual threat weapon out of South Carolina. Look, I understand it's not a need. But if you're looking back and you see a Disa Isaac in the second round, Max Melton's in the third round, at 29, you're just floating. We've said it 1,000 times. Yes, it's not a need. It might be a flat screen TV pick, but it's something that takes a top 5 offense, which the Lions have, to another level. And it might not be week 1, but you talk about playoff time with injuries, you look at especially on the defensive side of other teams, a guy like Xavier Legette's going to be breaking tackles. He's going to be able to use him in the run game. He's going to be good as a blocker. And especially with the new return style that they're coming out with this year, I would not be surprised at all if you saw Xavier Legette returning punts and kicks at all. So I just think he's a guy at 29 that gives you a lot of value. And with the uncomfortable conversation you have about Jameson Williams as far as one of those guys that you potentially have to move off of down the road, I understand he has that 5th-year option. But if you have Xavier Legette and he's shown you that he can truly be something, which I think he can, in my opinion, I think Xavier Legette is a guy who will not bust in the NFL. I think he has tremendous upside. And if you have to move off of Jameson Williams more so than want to, you have a guy that you've been developing in this system with Jared Goff alongside Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta that you can get to fill in at that wide receiver 2 spot. So I just think it's a luxury pick, yes, but it's one that will help set this franchise up and keep that window extended.
And 2, with the Xavier Legette thing, and I keep seeing this on Twitter as well. There's 2 things I'm seeing. The first one, it's, well, you can, and we had this conversation before we actually started the air, was, can you trade back and still get him? To me, I'm a little more so on Lucas's side is, hey, if he's there at 29 and that's your guy, just take him, because if you have listened to anything about Xavier Legette news, he has met with the Carolina Panthers, and it's been very well known that he went on air and actually said this, that he's met with them 4 or 5 times already. That is a team who will take Xavier Legette at 33. So if you want him on your football team and you think that's the guy that's going to take this offense from here to here, you draft him at 29 and you move on from it, because he's not going to, there's a chance if you say you move back to 36, he's gone and you just wasted that. So I'm with Klotz. I would not hate the pick at all, fellas. And there was someone that commented like, well, everyone's saying he's so big, but he's only 6'1". If you watch his film, and we saw him too at the combine, he plays big. He plays like he's 6'3". It feels like that, at least. He goes up and gets balls. He makes plays. He is just a flat out playmaker, it feels like. So I would not hate that. I would actually love the Xavier Legette pick. If that happened on Thursday night, I know Klotz will have his chest painted, and I'll probably chug the Kool-Aid right next to him and dump it on him as well. That's what's going to happen on Thursday night.
That would be a shot. That would be a shot.
Have we got confirmation I can do a Kool-Aid chug in the by our setup? Should we get some towels?
Probably not by the setup, but probably in the vicinity. Probably somewhere in the vicinity.
Okay, just want to confirm here. On air?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I hope so.
As long as it's not
we'll get a towel or something laid down. We'll have a Kool-Aid tart.
I'll bring some. We can bring some towels.
Yeah, as long as we have something to get the liquid with the equipment, we're fine.
Xavier Legette is one I do that for. If we trade up, I'm doing it. There's certain ones where the Kool-Aid comes out instantly.
And Lucas, that's what I was thinking. Like, if you could trade back into the early 30s and gain some more capital, like that would make me feel way better about it than picking him at 29. And another thing is, like, if there's guys like Brian Thomas that are falling, would you rather kind of move up and give away capital to get him, or would you rather just stand put and get a guy like Xavier at 29?
I really don't have, like, Xavier Legette is my favorite wide receiver just as far as watching, just because I understand, and I know Steve Wilds keep bringing up, he only has 1 year of full production. But if you watch the skill set and what he does and how he can translate, he can go and if you throw him a 50-yard fade, he's coming down with them. If you throw him a 7-yard slant route, he can take it to the house. He can do everything that you ask a receiver to do, and he does it with great size. You can see that the game is just very natural to him. You see that he sees the field differently than other wide receivers that are his size. So when you take that into account, he's my favorite wide receiver, but that's not the one where it's like, damn, they took A.D. Mitchell instead of Xavier Legette. Like, I just think, in my opinion, for where the Lions are sitting right now, the best value for their buck, in my opinion, is at 29 with the receiver. So if they took Brian Thomas and traded up, I'd be all for it. Like, it's not like I'm Xavier Legette over Brian Thomas.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, This whole receiver in the first round thing is just it's got me shook. I'm not gonna lie, it's got me very shook. I understand it's Brad Holmes. He's a guru, but at the end of the day, I don't want a receiver in the first round. Given how deep this class is, the only reason you take Xavier Legette is if you think, maybe he can be. He is so far better than anybody past the first round. There's just that this guy is special, which there could be that. But in my opinion, no. I don't want a receiver at 29. I just don't. I wouldn't hate it, but I would not if we're on stream and it's like at 29th overall pick, the Detroit Lions select Xavier Legette, I'd be like, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, like sweet, but it's like, damn. Probably me and you, Lucas, see it a little differently with having 3 weapons. Like I think the Lions already have 3 weapons, right? Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra, J-Mo. I get your point about giving another guy an opportunity that can come and make your offense that much unstoppable. But I think I think J-Mo could fill that role, and then you have DPJ who can kind of be they can draft somebody in the second, third round that could come in, develop, I think, with this coaching staff and eventually become a Josh Reynolds, fill that role. I don't think your takeaway from last season should be like, yeah, they need a receiver for years to come. Like, that's why you have J-Mo, in my opinion, and Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta. Like, take one in the second or third round. That's
what I keep going to is if you at 29, and I think this is perfect scenario, and I put this in my notes today that 29 you get Kool-Aid McKinstry, and that in the second round, again, it's like, would you rather just go Xavier Legette or would you get Kool-Aid McKinstry and Jalen Polk? Because to me, I'm going towards give me Kool-Aid McKinstry and Jalen Polk. And yeah, maybe at 61, Jalen Polk won't be there. Okay, trade up for him. Trade up for another guy, Roman Wilson. And that's where I think you kind of can get into that conversation with you, Jeff, to where you could get two guys that you could argue could be almost round 1, early round 2 guys, or you can just get Xavier Legette at 29. It's because it's not a reach, but he's not like a locked in round 1 guy, which Kool-Aid McKinstry, you can get that value and then as well get a wide receiver with like a Roman Wilson or a Jalen Polk and come out with the weapon still and Kool-Aid McKinstry. That to me is where I'm like, that feels a lot better. And I feel a lot more safe doing that than just going Xavier Legette and then, all right, who's going to be there at 61? We don't know.
Well, and this is where I'm at, Lucas, okay? And with this whole thing is there's only one football. We know Amon-Ra is going to catch a lot of them. All right. So I kind of look, you got Amon, and I get your point. You can never have too many weapons. That's fair. But at the end of the day, you only got one football. And I would at least prefer that your first round pick will be able to contribute right away. And I don't think a wide receiver will be able to contribute as much year 1 and even maybe year 2 as much as a defensive player. Because they need a corner, they need a defensive end. That's where I'm at with it. I get your point because you like the player and you think he could be that good. That's just where I'm coming from first, man. Like, you want to make a run this year, you got to take the best defensive player available. If that's corner, great. If it's an edge, great. I just think they need that more than they need a first round wide receiver, in my opinion.
I just don't think really with where they're sitting at right now with their Super Bowl window, and you look at how they've already upgraded this defense, I think the Xavier Legette, A.D. Mitchell, Keon Coleman, name wide receiver argument is the same thing that people are saying with Mikey Sanders still and Brian Branch, and people are a lot more opposed to Mikey Sanders still. But then you look, you have Kirby Joseph, you have Ife Melifonwu, and you have Brian Branch. Those are 3 safeties ahead of him. If you were to put Xavier Legette on the field, and a lot of the times there are 3 receivers on the field compared to safeties, obviously you can run nickel and dime packages, but predominantly you have 2 safeties on the field. So if you're talking about value and taking guys that if you're like happy with Mikey Sanders still, I understand that the defense is more so the worry, but this defense, like I've said time and time again, they've already got depth in the corner room. They've got a true cornerback 2, in my opinion, with Carlton Davis, and then you can surplus that with Amik Robertson. You add DJ Reader, so this defense has improved. The defense, as far as in the secondary, Kendall Vildor, Cam Sutton, was really what was costing the Lions last year. And then the offensive side of the ball, speaking of the NFC Championship game, it was Josh Reynolds with the drops. So let's say you can move off of Josh Reynolds and you didn't have to keep relying on Josh Reynolds. Well, now you have another weapon there. And I think, yes, maybe not year 1, he won't be getting the production. But at the end of the day, what do we always talk about J-Mo, especially early on? The idea of having all those weapons takes pressure off the other weapons on the field. So it does create an extra layer, maybe not a production, but it's an extra element the defense has to worry about. So when you get into the playoffs, I do think that's something that, again, teams have to game plan for more than they did last year with this offense. And with the run-first team, an extra receiver that you have to worry about in the run game is something that is definitely dynamic that teams should worry about.
It's interesting to me, though, that you said you have Carlton Davis, who's a CB2, but you don't want to take Kool-Aid McKinstry at 29. You don't want to go defense at 29 and you're saying it's
because
a deep
I think
room, but it's not. Like if you don't
difference?
have a CB1 and you don't have anyone outside of Amik Robertson, you don't have a deep room there. So like Kool-Aid makes that room deeper, and then you could still get a wide receiver. You already have a wide receiver 1 in Amon-Ra St. Brown, a potential wide receiver 2 in J-Mo, Khalif Raymond there, DPJ, and then you add Jalen Polk. That's like an elite. Like that is elite. But then your CB2, like you just literally just said, CB2 Carlton Davis. So you just have a CB2 and a CB3 and you just don't have anyone else after. That's where I'm a little with Jeff.
I've said numerous times, I don't think Kool-Aid McKinstry in his career will ever be a CB1, and especially Kool-Aid McKinstry year 1 will not be better than Carlton Davis.
I'm not saying CB1, but I'm saying depth. I'm not saying CB1, I'm saying depth. Like
depth,
you said,
and that's what I'm saying. Okay, so you bring up Kool-Aid McKinstry. Guys like TJ Tampa and Max Melton, guys that you use the argument, not you specifically, but you talk about the Jalen Polks of the world that could be there. You have that same argument with cornerback and defensive end, especially when you look at the defensive ends and like the Darius Robinson. Adisa Isaac is not that far off of him. Jonah Ellis is not that far off of him as far as a pure edge rusher. Maybe Darius can do more interiorly, but Jonah Ellis, yes, he's smaller, but he is better off the edge of getting the quarterback. And he has shown that in college, in Pac-12, which is pretty impressive offensively. So I just think when you look at that, it's like you can use that argument with every position in this draft. I just think we're so hung up on corner and defensive end because of the glaring needs. But Brad has showed you he's been able to fill those needs outside of round 1.
Well, let's get to our guest. He can help answer some of these questions, and it's a man who's been on here before. It's Mr. Kory Woods. He's joining the program. Kory, welcome to the show. We're happy. We're over here screaming at each other. It's a perfect time for you to join the program. You can check Kory out. He crushes it. Detroit Lions stuff and Detroit Pistons. He's doing both for M Live. Me and him go way back to our former employer, which, by the way, Adam Middoon, happy for you. But to continue, Kory, I do want to ask you to start off. We were over here. We talk about this a lot, Kory, about Brad Holmes' philosophy with BPA, because that's something he talks about. Free agency, you fill holes. Draft, you go get dudes. How from like Brad Holmes' perspective to you, at least from a fan, it's so hard to predict the draft because we always go to positional needs. Like they need a corner, they need a defensive end. How do you think Brad balances that with trying to find the best players, but also knowing that they need a corner, they need more help on the edge? Like, how do you think he kind of determines that?
First off, thanks for having me. And that is a great question. If I can just kind of, I guess you could say, psychoanalyze Brad's thoughts, I think he tackles it from a perspective of which player is going to fit their culture first and then kind of balance it out with the positional need. That's the way that I've kind of seen Brad be able to do it, because, I mean, remember back to when they were looking at when they drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown in what was that, 2021, people were screaming the whole time that he needed to draft a wide receiver, draft a wide receiver, draft a wide receiver, draft a wide receiver. But what did Brad do? Brad waited to that 4th round, and he not only got arguably one of the top 5 receivers in that draft, as we see now, but he also got a guy that fit that culture. So I think that's kind of what Brad does. I mean, this guy is a wizard. We have to remember that he's scouted over 20 Pro Bowl selections with his time with the Rams before he even got to the Lions. So he's kind of like a mad scientist when it comes to stuff. So just me, my perspective, I think he balanced it out by the culture fit weighted with the positional need.
Yeah, and Kory, kind of 2 days out now, do you have any, with the draft at 29 or even outside of 29, do you have any specific players that you're kind of looking at that you would love to see Brad Holmes kind of go at, whether it's defensive line, like any specific players that you love in this draft for them?
Well, it's kind of a tricky question, to be quite honest, because I guess you can say immediately after the Super Bowl, after the season started, we were thinking that the Lions were going to be – they were in a position to go best player available because they were set. But then you lose C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Then you lose Cam Sutton to his off-the-field situation. Now you're thrust from being able to just take the best player available to now actually needing to fill a hole. And the only reason, and that's why I think that in this draft they're probably going to go defense, and they're probably going to go towards the secondary, because they signed a couple of guys. I mean, they brought a Mick Robinson in, but I'm thinking that I don't see him as a starter. Carlton Davis, he's probably going to be your CB1, CB2, however you got to do it, but you're still going to need another corner. And unless you're going to go out of free agency and go get up a Gilmore, and you're now in a position where you really have to take a hard look at corner, because I think if they were not in this position with their secondary, they could have started looking to fill up that D line.
Love that. Yeah, love the defensive thought.
I don't know if you heard the conversation before you joined, Kory, but we were talking about the possibility of wide receiver at 29. I'm very pro wide receiver at 29, and there's a couple of them. They're not anti. Jeff, he's pretty anti against it, but where's your stance on that as far as where Brad Holmes goes at 29 with the receiver?
Well, as far as receiver, I am very anti-receiver at 29, and here's why. I believe that there are options out there in free agency that they can go ahead and fill up that need. Right now, you have Amon-Ra, you have J-Mo, you have Khalif Raymond's going to be coming back from injury, so that's going to be something to monitor. When I talked to him in the locker room cleanups, he said he thinks he'll be ready to go. But the interesting thing is that they brought back Donovan Peoples-Jones. Now, we just really followed this guy's career. And I said this a couple of days ago, no disrespect to Baker Mayfield, but we're now going to really be able to see what DPJ can do with a real quarterback in Jared Goff. Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to be an intriguing scenario right there, where you may not necessarily have to go in free agents, have to go draft a wide receiver. And there's also a guy that we're all familiar with in Detroit. His name is DJ Chark. He's out there. He was last year. He was on the Panthers, a 1-year deal for $5 million, and things did not go as well as we all know with Carolina. But he's a guy that you could bring back in, knows the system, and you could probably get him on the cheap right now because of the past season he had, and he might need to change the scenery. That is somebody that you could get. There's a couple of guys out there in free agency that you can get or go later down in the draft if you want to add some depth, but I don't think wide receiver at 29 is something they have to do. I think that is something they could have done if they didn't have this past situation with their secondary.
Common Kory W. Continue, Mike.
And Kory, we've talked about it. We've asked it a few times. Coming up on Thursday, do you think it's more likely they trade up or trade back?
Well, from where they're picking, I don't see them. From where they're picking, I don't see them trading back. What the heck did I just do? From where they're picking, I don't see them trading back unless they're getting some type of haul. I mean, they're already at the bottom of the draft. And I know that Brad Holmes is going to prioritize doing what's best for his team. So if he can trade back and get the nice haul, he's going to do that. But let's just keep it real. The NFL draft is in Detroit. I seriously doubt that Brad Holmes is going to deny Lions fans from seeing a first-rounder walk across that stage. So unless he's getting some type of sick deal that he can really sell to the public back, I don't see him trading back.
And Kory, it's funny, we had you on last time, and I asked you that question, the over-under for how many guys get extended. Well, who knew? We were all wrong. 0. Jared, St. Brown, and Panay, none of them got extended, Kory. I get that Brad has a plan, but can you kind of give some insight to maybe how he's approaching this thing? Is he going to wait closer to the season? How do you think this plays out at this point?
I'm going to be honest. This is one I'm in the dark on because, as you said, I literally thought that this would have been done by now. And if we see what just happened with wide receivers recently, and we saw what just happened with Kirk Cousins, who's coming off an Achilles injury, and the deal he got, I mean, Jared Goff is probably chomping at the bit right now. He's salivating like, oh, I'm about to kill. Because just look at what he's done here. I mean, this guy came here, first season, 3 wins, next season, 9, and narrowly missed the playoffs. And now the guy, 3rd year, changed the whole organization, takes them to the NFC Championship, 2 quarters away from their first Super Bowl appearance. And there's no fault to his own that things did not turn out that way. This guy is going to be able to break the bank. So I was really shocked that his deal did not get taken care of earlier because it probably would have been at a not necessarily a cheaper deal, but maybe a more team-friendly one. Now, Goff can really command the bank. And same thing with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's a team player guy, but now you're looking at all the money that these guys are getting, and you look at his production, and he's really been one of the better wide receivers over the past couple of years in the NFL. So he's going to be able to command a big deal, or he could. I'm not trying to scare Lions fans, but you never know. This guy could be a training camp holdout.
Mm-hmm.
That would be scary if that happened. Kind of with the contracts too stuff, Kory. The one thing I feel like no one's talking about is Aleem McNeil. And I believe that he's on his last year as well. Is that and kind of? I know Panay as well. He's up for an extension. Do you think the Aleem McNeil thing is anything? Because no one's talked about it. It hasn't really gotten brought up. Do you think that's something to kind of keep an eye on this year, especially if he has like another big year, and then he's going to probably command big time money too? And we keep having these conversations that you just can't keep all of these guys on the team. Is that like a big thing to look at? Is this Aleem McNeil situation this year as well?
Oh, absolutely. You definitely have to look at that because, like you just said, they have to pay so many guys. And if we're just being honest about it, the guys that we just talked about first, there's a reason that Aleem McNeil is at the end of it. Not because he's not a good player, but when you're talking about it in terms of priority, you have to lock up Goff. You have to lock up St. Brown. You have to lock up Panay. I know some people have said in the past, well, you don't have to really lock up Goff just yet. If he doesn't do anything this year, you can go to Hendon Hooker. The unknown is always sexy to everybody because you don't know what it is. No, you got to lock up those first 3 guys. So that's why I just think that Aleem is something to monitor, but I think even he has to know that those 3 guys are going to get taken care of first.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of transitioning out of the lines, but it has to do with the draft. I think we can all assume that Caleb Williams is going to be #1 selection. He's going to go to the Bears. Kory, what do you think, as we're just talking rookie year, because I think there's some people that are calling for rookie of the year, potentially the Bears make it to the playoffs. What do you think Caleb's impact on the division will be year one?
Well, I think he could possibly have a solid year, all things considered. But at the end of the day, and this is no disrespect to them, it's actually having faith that the Bears will do right by our quarterback. And we've seen that time and time again. They haven't, well, maybe they're doing it right now. I mean, but I still think they have to address that offensive line a little bit. But first year, I think that I can see him struggling a little bit. But I mean, if we're just being real, this guy has the talent. So he may just have the rookie hiccups, and that's about it. Or who knows? He could turn into CJ Stroud, which would be very scary for the division. But
especially with that
yeah. But I mean, and the thing is, he has the weapons to be able to do that. So I'm going to say he's going to be decent.
Okay.
And Kory, I know you kind of talked about it earlier, but what's a bigger position of need in your eye going into the draft, edge or getting someone with opposite of Aiden Hutchinson or getting another corner in there? And which one would you rather them trade up for? And is there a guy that you like at those certain positions?
I don't think there's really anybody they got to trade up for. I think the Lions right now, even though they, had their deficiencies with the secondary and losing two key pieces in the offseason, I don't think that they have to trade up. I still like Kool-Aid McKinstry. I still like Cooper DeJean. Those are a couple of guys can go at. If they decide to go edge, I mean, obviously you got to look at somebody like a Chop on that defensive line. But I think that Kool-Aid's going to be the guy. He's solid in coverage. He could be a CB1 at least for right now. And then when you also think about the Lions were top of in their run defense last year, and he's also good in run as well. So that checks off 3 boxes right there with him. And I mean, shoot, you got the Alabama guys back together right there with Brian Branch. So I think that's something to look at it right there.
I like it.
Great stuff, Kory. We appreciate you. I know you're going to be busy this week. You got the draft. You got draft coverage, which you guys can check out, mlive.com. You can follow Kory at Kory E. Woods. We got to catch up next week after this whole thing kind of.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say personally, too, thank you, Kory. I know Kory's been supporting me and the fellas since we started up Crunch Time. So much love to you, brother, and I'll talk to you soon.
I
appreciate you, Kory.
Yes, sir. Kory Woods, man. You know what? Feed my ego. That's why I appreciate Kory. Except for the golf stuff, Booner.
Golf stuff. He's on my side with that now. I love to hear that.
Oh, I love him.
He's feeding all of our egos. He fed all of our egos today.
That's why we have guests. They just
much needed after that first segment we had. I love that.
Hey, that's why, you know what? Like, we appreciate you as guests, but as long as you feed all our egos, we're good. Lucas didn't get his ego fed though. The wide receiver thing wasn't.
Hey, but
you know what?
Scott does. Scott does. Scott loves wide receiver at 29 for Lions. So as long as we keep bringing Scott on the show,
yep,
I'll get mines.
Kory did bring up Chop, which I know Lucas didn't like that, but
we were about to outro, so I didn't want to hang up too much of the time. But that, and he said DeJean as well. I wouldn't be too mad because the value at DeJean at 29 when you talk about best player available, but it's like, okay. People
there is a side
that's where I'll fall back on my receiver thing. It's like you really don't need Cooper DeJean, and you really don't need a wide receiver. But
there is a side I'm not going to be mad.
Like, real quick before you go, Boone, I want to clarify it because I went on a very wide receiver at 29 propaganda run there. I will not be mad if the Lions draft a corner outside of Nate Wiggins in the first round. Okay, if they take Kool-Aid, there will be a smile on my face. If they draft Darius Robinson, there will be a smile on my face. It's just my personal preference. If I was Brad, bringing that man Xavier Legette home. That's me. That's me.
But Klotz, this is what I'm going to say. If you were Brad is 3 for 3 on draft classes right now. So anything he ends up doing at 29.
I'm not.
Yeah, anything he does, even if he goes Cooper DeJean at 29, in the back of my head, whether I like it or not, I know Brad's done his homework. He has the guy that he wants. Cooper DeJean probably is going to be a dude in the NFL because Brad has proven.
How good would it feel to be able to call one of Brad's shots? Like to know.
Probably great.
Like to know, like that's why it's like that's like the ultimate. Like if you talk about it and you manifest it, and then Brad's he's thinking alike. Raises the ball nowhere IQ.
That's the meme, the locking hands. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We got some super chats I want to get to. Kyle Stark, thank you. Became a Crunch member.
Kyle
for the love there. Ed O'Neill, thank you for the $2. Says, bring me to G. I want Lucas to lose it. Chaos. Hey.
I don't know. I don't know. There'd be a couple other players.
The chaos would be the Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins would be the
chaos. Chaos would be Nate Wiggins or Chop Robinson.
Who would you rather have out of those two?
Oh, I would pick Chop.
I would go Nate Wiggins because I'm not arguing Nate Wiggins' talent. That's not what I'm arguing with Nate Wiggins. I'm arguing Nate Wiggins just injuries. Like it's hard that like it's just injury riddled. I think Nate Wiggins is very talented. That's not what I'm saying.
Nate Wiggins injury? Okay, I would rather have an edge that's going to be on the field than a corner that's going to be
Chop Robinson isn't going to be on the field, and it's not because of injury, in my opinion.
He might not even be on there on rundowns either. He might just be on third.
No, he will like on goal line. Like I would love to have a defensive end in the first round, like Darius Robinson, on the goal line. Your first round pick is in there. He's not on the sideline catching water, watching Josh Pascal go to work. Marcus Davenport go to work.
Steve, thank you. Thank you, my man, for the $10. This Sutain on the move. Denver/Detroit did talk today. Will Denver pay part of the fifth-year option, meaning he would be under control for 2 years? Denver with 2 first-round picks to get that top quarterback. Detroit talked with Las Vegas too. To be honest, Steve, I don't know. I love Sutain. If you get Sutain, he's one of the best corners.
What do you give up though?
You got to give him though. What he's expecting is $20-ish million per year. That's what he wants.
So much money.
Take that.
He can take
you have Sutain, Hutch, Jack Campbell, and Brian Branch. Yeah. You are set.
Again, though, guys.
I like it.
I think Sutain is great. It's just there's so many contracts that you have to pay. There's so much. There's not. You don't have that much money.
I'll let J-Mo walk for Sutain. No disrespect.
That's not one of the options though. J-Mo's not one of. J-Mo's not going to get $20 million. J-Mo is not one of the options.
Aleem
McNeil. Okay, that's an option. That's a legit option. You said J-Mo's going to go out there and get $25 million.
I mean, Sutain is kind of a guy like that you're trying to go out and get, so you wouldn't be comfortable like just paying up. Like he's everything you want in a cornerback one. So you're gonna be searching for him. If he's falling right into your lap, you might as well just take him. You're gonna have to pay someone to be your cornerback one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean,
but weren't we on the show against L'Jarius Sneed?
I don't think he's going to get traded, but I would take it.
Yeah, but you got to trade value. You'd have to trade picks and re-sign him.
And give him money.
And in my opinion, I know he's still younger. Like if they wanted to get Sneed because they franchise tagged him, so you'd have to trade
for Sutain too.
Yeah, but then if that case, you're getting a younger player who, in my opinion, is on a whole different level than L'Jarius Sneed. L'Jarius Sneed was playing for Steve Spagnuolo in the #1 secondary. He had Trent McDuffie on the side, Chris Jones in front of him. Like Patrick Surtain, he did have Justin Simmons, but I mean, as far as defensively, they were injury riddled the last 2 years. He's done everything that he's wanted to since he stepped foot in the NFL. If you want to put Sauce Gardner in front of him, I'm not going to argue, but in my opinion, I think Pat Surtain is just because against the run.
Yeah,
Sauce isn't like a liability, but Surtain.
That's how you respond. That's like a chess move by Brad to combat Keenan Allen.
Big move. If he did that Thursday, that's
Justin Jefferson. That's
well, I'm saying the addition.
Yeah,
like Justin Jefferson wasn't. He's just been there, but like to kind of combat the receivers coming in the division now with already who you have, like you said, that's like Surtain. That's
go to work. Go to work.
Alabama.
He was probably there when Brian Branch was there too.
What year did he come out? Because he came out,
I think, 2 years before Branch.
So Branch would have been probably like a freshman at that point.
Probably.
Like yeah, I mean, bring them all home. I mean, Alabama corners. I don't know. I might be a little bit of a simp for them. They just turn into great players. So
they're boom or bust.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Lucas. This is where we can meet in the middle here. Okay. If you get Surtain, you could draft any wide receiver you want.
Yeah, it might just be in like the third round though.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not getting Xavier Legette at that point.
No, you're looking for Malachi Corley.
Yeah, the second round pick. I'm actually no, that would make no sense. Then I'm right. Yeah, cool. because you wouldn't even have the ability to take one in the first round.
Oh no!
Yeah, you would. You'd be searching in the third. Fourth.
So,
well, you have
argument,
61, right? You don't have to give 61 up.
Second.
You don't have to give 61 up.
You might. Man.
I don't know. I mean,
he's under 25.
First and a second this year. There's no way. No way you give up 29 and 61.
Yeah, you'd probably give up future capital.
I would.
You would, but that would be dumb. You would get fleeced. You would get fleeced.
Those picks. You saw what happened with Jalen Ramsey went to the Rams.
You could smile, but you're going to get fleeced. You get fleeced.
Look, he's going to the Denver fucking Broncos. Okay, you're not going to have to see those picks. You're going to get. I look at the Los Angeles Rams, and they were drafting for a little bit. Then they brought in Jalen Ramsey and said, "Fuck it, we're waiting on waiting on the development. Let's get a lockdown corner." Instantly went to the Super Bowl. Bada bing, bada boom.
Right.
Yeah, you need him.
And even after the Super Bowl run, he was out there being a dog.
Well, Boone,
get fleeced. Just get fleeced.
Boone, it's your time to shine.
Boone, it's your time to shine. What do you got for us today?
Is it the pick segment? What are we doing here?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
NFL draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
Betting segment. All right, boys, here we go. All right. This is how I did it. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go around the room. It's got to be quick because we only have a couple minutes here, and I've got a lot here. So we're going to have to go around. I'm going to throw some things out there. You guys, I'm not giving you guys picks straight up here. I'll give those out maybe tomorrow or Thursday, but I'm just going to go through some things here. The first one I'm going to start with is NFL draft. It's going to be the player to get selected first out of this position group. So the first defensive lineman off the board, guys. And as you guys were over there talking about Patrick Sutain, the odds actually moved. Dallas Turner, plus 100 to go first. Originally, the second player off the board was Latu at like plus 200. While you guys were talking, guess who jumped up? Byron Murphy just jumped Latu. Literally, I saw it. I was looking at my screen here, and I saw it flop. Byron Murphy is now plus 250 to be the first defensive end off the board or defensive lineman, and Latu plus 260. Where are you guys at with that? Any value, Byron Murphy, Latu going? Because I did see a mock draft today that had Latu be up the first defensive player in general. And then also I've seen two mock drafts after your guys', Jeff, that had Byron Murphy going 8 overall.
I would
go at plus 250.
If I had to pick one for value, I still think Dallas Turner will be the first one. But if I had to, for value, Byron Murphy. I mean, I guess because Latu, I don't see Latu, even though I think if he was healthy, the neck injury is just kind of lingering. But if he was healthy, I think he very well could be the first defensive lineman off the board. I just don't know with the neck injury, he would certainly be the first defensive lineman off the board. I think the first defensive lineman off the board will either be Dallas Turner, who I think will be, or Byron Murphy the second. Those are kind of the only two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's Dallas Turner no matter what. What were the odds on him? I'm sorry, Booner.
Dallas Turner plus 100. It's actually great. It's great odds.
Yeah, it's going to be him. He's the best edge in this draft, without a doubt.
I'm with Gentry, especially in the NFL today. I think edge rusher is one of the more significant positions, and I think he's going to be good. I mean, he's talented. It shows in the combine and on film, and he just plays fucking nasty. Like, he's just a guy that's, again, I don't think we'll have any chance of busting. Pause.
So, wait, you said, what was Byron Murphy's odds? You said he was the favorite?
Byron Murphy's second now. He just moved into second as I was looking at it. It's like plus 250. But I do think if you're looking at value and you think like a team's going to sit there and, to Adam's point, maybe a Falcons is like, hey, we'd rather have an interior guy and go Byron Murphy. That's some value.
Or even the Bears. Bears could do it too. So
I hope not.
Yeah, that would be tough. If they got
for
either
value,
one,
I'd go Byron Murphy. But if I'm actually putting my money on the line to get the pick right, I'm going Dallas Turner. So that's how I am with it.
All right. This is what we're going to do. Next one here. We're getting out of that because that was literally, there's a lot of players like quarterbacks and wide receivers who we know who the first guy off the board is. Let's do this. Let's do player draft positions over unders. All right. So if you guys can think of any first round guys that you guys want to know, I have a list here and I can find them. I want to start with this one though. A wide receiver, Brian Thomas Jr., over under 19.5 pick. It is basically, it's almost even money. Under is plus 128 and over is minus 172. So it's a little far off. Where do you guys go with that? Do you guys think he goes over under 19.5 here?
I think over.
Go over.
There's a lot of offensive linemen that'll be taken in there. You'll get the best corners taken in the teens too, and there'll already be like 3 wide receivers off the board. So I'm gonna go in the over on that.
I'm gonna go under. I just think that I don't see there's any way. I think there's going to be 3 receivers top 10, and I don't think there's any way that a wide receiver doesn't go in the teens. I think there could be one, and that one is going to be Brian Thomas.
Repeat it again. I want to make sure I get this right. Say
Brian Thomas Jr. over under 19.5.
What do the Bengals pick? What, 18?
20, or no, they picked 19.
19.
Or 18. Or 18.
That's right on the line.
The Steelers pick 20. The Steelers pick 20. I think the Bengals pick 18, and then the Rams are 19.
I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over.
I'm gonna go over too.
Yeah, I think with certain receivers, if you don't have if there's questions about your route running or your rawness, those guys typically do fall a little bit, just a little bit. I'm not saying he'll fall. I don't know about second round, but maybe I'll go. I think he goes to the 20s.
All right, I've got this one's interesting to me, guys. Defensive tackle Jerzon Newton. His over under.
What's
this? Is when I'm looking at, I'm shocked at this. Over under 31.5. What are you doing? I think it's under, right?
I'm gonna go over. That line's there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It is plus 130 for him to go over, though, Gentry. Just so you know, but it's still,
yeah. I agree with Gentry, especially because he was a player coming into the draft season. He was a player that was mocked pretty high, so I think for him to be falling with that, I think there's smoke with fire, in my opinion.
Oh, Jeff. I'm gonna go under. Screw it. I'll go under. I think a team, even though all the rumors, we fall in love with this, the rumors say that Jerzon Newton's going to fall. Mock drafts have him falling. I think he's a first-round pick, and he should be.
All right, this
early. You guys still, I know, because what was it, 31.5? So technically, he could be a first-round pick at 32.
Could be a first, 32.
But I think he goes higher than 32. Excuse me. That's what I'm saying.
This one's. I'm going to go Klotzy's guy real quick with this. Xavier Legette. They have an over/under for him. And I want to make this known. We were supposed to do this betting segment a couple days ago. And when I had that originally, Klotzy, what did I tell you? 42.5 was his line?
37.
Was it 37? Guess what it's at now, fellas? It's at 33.5. It's moved 5 positions already. 33.5. Klotzy, you should have locked that in 2 days ago when I told you. I think, if I'm being honest here, and I think the reason that came out, fellas, is because the Panthers situation that came out today that said that he met with them 5 times and they pick at 33. That's why I think the books made it 33.5. I don't think he gets past 33. I'm going under. I'm going under 33.5.
Yeah, I'm under.
Yeah, Lucas, just skip Lucas.
First round, dude. He's not making out the first round.
You could have told this man 29.5. He'd still say under. But I'll go under. I'm with Luke. He's convinced me. The more I've gotten to know personally Xavier Legette. Remember we started off on a rough outing. Called him
Leggette.
Yep. We progressed. Me and him. I'm with you, Lucas. Under.
I like the under for that one too, especially because the Carolina shit that came out. I think he'll go under.
Is there any names that you guys are kind of wondering what their line is?
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Oh, Jeff, you're gonna love this one. I had that pulled up. Over under 29.5. Right on the line for the Lions there. Right on the line for the Lions.
I think he goes under.
The under. Slam the under.
And it's minus 172 for him to go under. So they think he's going under 29.
Yeah.
Eagles will take him.
What about Brock Bowers?
Brock Bowers here. I got that too. Brock Bowers.
Steve
over
asked
under
for JPJ too. We'll do that one next.
11.5 for Brock Bowers. Basically even money both ways. I think that goes under too.
Brock?
I think he goes at 10. I think he goes to the Jets. I'm convinced.
11.5.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, no, I agree, because if the Chargers trade out, they'll pick him at 11. So under. Or the Jets, like you said, Boone.
Yeah, I'll go.
Where are you going, Gentry?
I mean, I picked him at 10 in all of our mock drafts that we did. So before I gave the chat my pick, but yeah, so it's under.
Lucas wants the Colts to get him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a significant chance that he goes over. I'm gonna lean over, and I just think because even a team like the Saints, I think the Jets right now, I think it's smarter for them to go offensive line. However, if they go Brock Bowers, great pick. He's gonna be a top 10 player in this draft class for sure.
Yeah.
What was the other one, Jeff? You said
JPJ. Steve Wilds asked for it. That's a good one because
it is that, and then that's like a Lions kind of pick too. That's over under 31.5. So he's right on that first round mark there.
What was Jerzon Newton's? Was Jerzon's 31.5 too?
30 was that 32.5 or 31.5? Let me double check that.
I think he was.
I'm gonna say over again. That's another player that where there's smoke, there's fire, because it was all like all first round picks, and then round like even after the combine is when it started.
Did you guys see that article? Well, I think it was an article. It was like a piece about how Frank, there's indication that he may have 1 year left before he retires.
That's what I've been saying. Like,
So
I think he wants to play 2 years. But
I don't know. I wouldn't hate it. JPJ.
I don't know.
That's another one of those where it's like, I feel like every year there's a JPJ or every year there's a Zach Frazier. And it's not saying that those players aren't good, but there's always going to be good offensive linemen. That's like what the league needs.
Remember when they took Frank
value in JPJ, knowingly you can move him around to guard and or to center if Frank does decide to leave next year. And if he doesn't, then you can still move JPJ around. So I mean,
yeah, I remember when they took Frank Ragnow, I was like, ooh. And then now he turned into a freaking beast. I thought called him the best center in the game last year. And I think he's still up there and still is. So I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it at all.
Hey, what about this, good fellas? The number of players drafted by position, offensive linemen, their number is set at 9.5.
9.5 offensive linemen in the first round.
So would you say that 10 go in the first round? And I think that's tackles, guards, that's everything. Because do you want me to name some off real quick? I have the list here.
Yeah.
Joe Alt, Troy Fautanu, Fashanu from Penn State. Those three guys for sure, correct? Amarius Mims for sure, first round. What do you think?
What about the guy from Oregon State?
Fuagu. That's 4. Tyler Guyton, could you say he's a lock?
He's definitely not a lock for the first round, but I could see him going first round.
So if they're not a lock, let's take them off the list. So we're at 4 right now. What about JC Latham? Is he a first round lock?
Yes.
Okay, that's 5.
Jeff loves JC Latham.
Is there any guards for the first round? I don't think there is. Graham Burton, I guess he's listed under center here, and stay with Jackson Powers Johnson. So those are 2 more potentially. Jackson Powers Johnson could fall out. Graham Barton's going to go first. That's only 7 right there, fellas.
There's going to be 8 exactly.
So I might take the under. The under, and the under is plus 134. So you're getting plus money for that.
So what is it? You said what's the line?
8
over under 9.5.
Oh,
yeah.
9.5.
That feels like an easy under, right?
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
You're right on the line, but I would say under. I would lean under as well.
Now, this one, fellas, Klotzy, this is yours. Wide receiver. 6.5. It's plus 260
first
to
round?
go over. Plus 260 to go over.
So you got the first 3, and then Brian Thomas. You got Leggette. You got AD Mitchell. That's what, 6?
6.
Yeah,
you would need like a Xavier Worthy.
Sure. Under for sure. I think there'll be 5.
Under.
I think there'll be 6. But that's like pushing it. I could see 5 too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one's gonna be close, but I'm still taking the under.
I think all the receivers, like that's gonna be like top 45. Like that's when all those receivers will go.
All right, boys. Last one, last bet here, and then this is where we're done. This is a Booner special here. This is what we're gonna be rooting for. Total drafts or total trades on the first day of the draft, over under 6.5. It's plus 200 to go over.
Oh my God, 6.5.
Plus, the under is minus 250. Are you going over? Are you taking this? You don't think there's 7? You don't think there's 7? I think there's gonna be. I think we're gonna get like a field.
Man.
Hey, I think I'm gonna hammer it. I think I'm gonna do it. I think
out of all the ones we talked about, that's the one you're hammering.
I love action.
That's a bet that I would hammer probably on like day 2 and like see what the line is as far as trades go. But like 7 trades in round 1, that's a lot, man.
I love the action, Gentry.
But I feel like
they said today that they've been getting people have been getting phone calls all day. All the insiders say they're getting phone calls saying that there's going to be a ton of movement in the first round this year, and there's going to be a ton of trades happening. And when I hear that, and I see the line at 6.5, how many trades were there last year? Does anyone know?
Not off the top of my head, no.
There's usually like 5 to 7 a year. There's a good amount, but like, what was it? What was the number you said?
Plus 250 over 6.5 to get 7. Plus 250.
It could happen. I would lean under though. I would.
And if people are getting those phone calls, Jeff, if they're saying, "Hey, there's going to be action this year. This is going to be there's action. There's action going on."
Well,
give me the action.
Does this work? Okay. If a team trades up and a team trades back, that's 2 trades, or is that one single trade?
That's one trade because you're making a move together.
Vikings trading up, maybe Cardinal. I don't think the Cardinals will trade back though. That's all smoke. I think. Yeah, I don't think they'll actually.
Cardinals trading back?
No,
yeah, because they already got another first round pick.
Yeah, so you have Minnesota, Lions could, maybe another team. Now we had to come up with like 3-4
6
more.
trades last year in the first round from Allen. Shout out Allen. This year there's going to be
could happen. I'm not saying it won't, but I would lean under.
We should all bet it as a crew, just so for day one when we're doing the show, we're all in on something.
And this is just the first round, so
I think it's the first round. Let me double check that. Actually,
yeah, 7. There will definitely be more. There will definitely be probably triple that in the whole draft, probably double that, more than that actually. But first round,
let me make sure I had that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I actually, if you guys want to keep doing some bets here, I don't know if the people are liking the bets, but
yeah, we got 8 minutes. Let's keep going.
What's Quinyon?
Hold on. I'm not sure. I was going to pull up. I have pulled up here. I don't have Quinyon, but what I have here, I have matchups. So players like who would get picked over who. Do you guys want to do a little of that? I've got a couple of those.
Yeah, let's do it, Boone.
Sure.
This one's the most interesting to me is Adonai Mitchell and Xavier Worthy.
What do you mean?
Xavier Worthy is plus 130 to go over 80
It'd
Mitchell.
have to be to the Dolphins. It would have to be Dolphins.
Yes.
If it's not the Dolphins, then it's not going to be any other team, in my opinion.
I don't even think the Dolphins want another speed guy like that. Jalen Waddle's not slow by any means. He can still get after it. And then you have Tyreek Hill. I just don't think drafting another guy like Tyreek Hill and having the same skill set as them would really benefit them too much. Obviously, they could kind of run him the same way they do with Tyreek Hill, but I mean, I think that kind of just throws off their scheme.
That's a flat screen TV pick, Lucas, for the Dolphins. Even though I saw some article, they think that Xavier Worthy can kind of take over for Tyreek Hill as he continues to age.
Oh,
like,
good
get out of here. No, I saw that somewhere.
That'd be Waddle.
It was probably some Dolphins media outlet or something. I don't know. Who knows? Some Miami media outlet. But yeah, no, I think I would go with AD. I would go with AD. The only wild card team is the Dolphins, but I don't think so. So I'll go with AD. I think he goes higher.
What about this one? This is a corner and an edge. Terrion Arnold. They have Terrion Arnold and Jared Verse. I personally would go Terrion Arnold.
I agree.
Maybe unless I think Terrion goes before Jared Verse. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't know why they would have this in there as a matchup. That feels like it's a little uneven, to be honest.
Probably just because, well, I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to say that is Quinyon higher on their board than Terrion?
I mean, you gotta think too, man. I mean, the
first that to me, Classy?
Yeah, I was saying.
I don't know.
After 10, there's a handful of teams that need corners. So
yeah, like Terrion could go at 15 and Jared Verse could go at 17, 18, 19. Like he could drop a little bit. And Terrion, I don't see a guy like Terrion Arnold and Quinyon Mitchell getting picked after 15. I see both of them going 12, 13, 14, 15, Terrion and Quinyon both going. So I think I would do that. Yeah. This seems like an obvious one too. Byron Murphy and Latu. Latu's plus 130, but that just seems like an odd. I feel like Byron Murphy.
Latu must be going early.
Latu's all of his lines, everything about Latu so far has been pushed like he's going to go before Jared Verse. I wish that was a bet I could do because that's not on here. I would go Latu over Verse, to be honest.
Yep. Smart man.
No, I'd go. If they're saying that Latu in the books is going to be higher, I don't think NFL teams are worried about that fucking neck injury if they're taking him top 15 at all.
Because there's been players. I know someone put this in the chat and I noticed it. I don't have the information to back it up, but someone mentioned how there's been players that have had a similar neck injury that have had pretty good careers. He could be the exception, and it comes back to haunt him. But I would lean towards he'll be fine. That's why I wouldn't have a problem with trading up for Latu, or hell, if he makes it, which he won't, taking him. But I think teams, they know. You watch the tape, turn on the tape, watch Latu. That dude's I mean, if you just take away the neck injury concerns, he's a top 10 pick easily. Like if Dallas Turner went to Atlanta, if I'm the Bears, if you're not going offensive lineman, take Latu. Like, but I think they'll probably go offensive line. They should at least.
All right. Last thing we'll do here, boys. This is the last one. Player to get picked by a certain team. Michael Penix. Plus 200 to go to the Las Vegas Raiders. You guys have to lock in on this one because there's a couple here. Plus 200 for the Raiders. Plus 400 for the Vikings. Plus 550 for the Seahawks. And plus 650 for the Denver Broncos. Which team do you think he goes to? Because these are all very good value in the plus money. There's a couple other players here who are like Bo Nix. If I'm being honest, just to give you an idea, Bo Nix is minus 130 to go to the Denver Broncos. So there's some type of smoke there in the books that shows and thinks that Bo Nix is going to go to the Broncos. And Penix is plus 200. His highest value is plus 200 for the Raiders, which is that's interesting to me.
I think no, go ahead, Lucas. You're good.
I think this all falls on the Patriots. If the Patriots take JJ, then I think he ends up on the Vikings. But if he doesn't, then I think there's a strong chance that maybe the Raiders trade back. They want to add more value because they have some holes on the defensive side as well. I think offensively, their skill players are set, but they need offensive line. You get an offensive lineman and you get Michael Penix in the back end of the first round. I wouldn't hate that for them.
But here's the thing. There sits right behind the Raiders and the teens is Seattle. You know, are you willing to wait? Do you just pull the trigger in the teens?
And he's right there. They've been watching him more than anybody.
That's the most interesting part.
That's the tricky part. Because I was going to say that, Lucas, and I thought about it. I'm like, well, the Raiders, if they don't take him with their what do they pick, 13 or something like that?
Yeah.
If they don't take him there, they could trade back. But I'm like, oh, wait, the Seahawks are a couple picks after. They might be sitting there going.
They just traded for Sam Howell, Hefe. You want to talk about somebody let sit and marinate behind? Mm-hmm. Sam Howell.
That's something you let marinate, and you're like, no. Maybe some food went bad.
I'd probably take the Raiders, but like if he falls into the second round, which I think he's gonna, but the Seahawks have a lot of later picks that they could trade up, maybe move pick 81, and then a lot of their later picks and move down if he keeps falling. But I think the Raiders are probably the best fit for him.
It's weird. Do you guys remember the draft last year with the quarterbacks? And Klotz, you remember because I put a bunch of bets on, and like the one was the Anthony Richardson and the Will Levis thing, and Will Levis I think was projected to go top 5. Like it was like minus money for him to go top 5, and I remember that was one of the bets I think I was all in on. Was Will Levis like top 5?
McCarthy. Sounds like a JJ McCarthy narrative.
But again, like it's weird though because like Drake May is minus 290 to go 3rd overall, and now you're just sitting there to where the Will Levis thing happened last year. Maybe that's the JJ McCarthy thing, or maybe that's the Drake. I don't know. I that's just something to keep an eye on because last year that quarterback situation where Will Levis started falling and he was basically minus money to go in the top 5. That's where you start questioning everything when you kind of think about that. So when I look at those odds, what team, that's tough. That's real tough.
Sounds like JJ.
Don't do that.
Just saying, Boone. One quarterback's gonna fall.
Don't put that out there. Don't put that out there.
Don't you do that.
Top 10.
Well, fellas, we can defer to the man that probably knows more quarterbacks than any of us put together, and we can ask him about JJ McCarthy. That'll be a lot of fun. Please welcome to the show the man, the myth, the legend, former USC and Vanderbilt and Tennessee Titans quarterback and host of the Momentum Pod. Link will be in the description. Mr. Mo Hasan. What's going on, Mo?
What up, boys? Happy to be here. How y'all doing?
Good,
we're doing good, man.
Good.
We're fired up. The NFL Draft in Detroit this Thursday, and we've spent so much time talking about it. And I know Lucas has told me a lot about kind of your experiences and the players you've gotten to know and get familiar with. And one player that I could not wait to ask you about because you had him on your podcast is Caleb Williams, and you know the narrative. I see it everywhere, the painted nails. He's playing in the NFC North. I want your perspective on what Lions fans should expect when Caleb Williams enters the division. And with all the narratives, what's your take on Caleb Williams transferring to the NFL?
I'm always so interested in what people who don't know him think about him. It's just so weird, kind of like when you know someone on a more personal level and you hear things. I don't know. I scroll through my Twitter all the time and I see like anonymous sources talking about him. But no, man, Caleb. Let's see. I feel like there's just so many misconceptions, man. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good teammate. He gets a lot of like diva.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what do you think about the whole like how he's kind of like he has a feminine side to him, wearing the lipstick and stuff like that. So when you see those things, but then you're in a locker room watching this guy and being by far the best player on the field, where's the clarity between that, you think?
With the feminine stuff?
Yeah, like where is it like because I remember you telling me that it's just like he just doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like he just doesn't care what people think to the ultimate level.
Yeah, I think there's something to that where if you genuinely actually don't care at all what people think, and you just kind of act differently, I guess. I think most of us, myself included, like, you know, sometimes you read comments and you're like, damn, like, what's my boy going to think? What's this girl going to think? Like, there's zero of that with this guy. Like, it's on some, you know, Kanye West, Ryan Garcia level, right? Which probably makes you a better football player. Who knows? Like,
yep.
But yeah, I mean, he's into like fashion, obviously. So there's going to be a lot of different trends that people aren't doing. The nails, I think his mom is, she does something with nails in that industry or something. So like there's like a connection there. I remember him explaining one time. But again, like this dude just doesn't care. So that's just who he is, man. And it shows on the playing field.
You think he's going to haunt this division? We're Lions fans. That's my fear. I think Caleb's going to be a hell of a player, and I think he's very worthy of the #1 overall pick. What are Lions fans? What should we expect out of this guy? Is this the next 10? Is this Aaron Rodgers? We just get dealt with him haunting us for a decade plus, 2 decades. What should we expect out of Caleb as he becomes a Bear?
He's going to win a few Super Bowls, especially with what they're doing on offense, man. Like, I mean, I said this the other day. I don't even know why it should be a hot take, but I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler year 1. You know, like with that supporting cast, I've never seen a #1 pick going into a better situation than Caleb has, like ever. Mm-hmm. You know, like DJ Moore is probably #1 on a lot of teams. Keenan's coming off his best season yet. I think he's a top 5 route runner in the league. DeAndre Swift at running back. There's a lot of talk of what they're going to do in the first round. I heard they might take Brock, which would be really cool. I think Caleb's boys with Rome Odunze too. So like those 2 picks would be insane, either one. So they're obviously like very, very invested in having a good supporting cast. O-line's not terrible. I think they're going to add a few pieces there too. So like Caleb with those dudes is scary, man. Like I know y'all have a squad in Detroit, but I think the Chicago teams is going to be pretty decent.
Making me nervous a little bit over here. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to be honest. Just breaking it down like that. If they add Brock Bowers, it just scares me a little bit. Even
couple Super Bowls, Boone.
When I heard Super Bowls, my heart stopped for a second over here. Oh man. Hey Mo, I want to ask you this about quarterbacks as a quarterback on your own, and this whole the whole first round feels like it's just all talk is quarterbacks. What is your thought here with this whole quarterback class? I mentioned this on the show a couple times. I feel like there's a chance you do see for the first time since like the 80s 6 come off the board, just because there are teams, whether they're good or not, there's just so many teams who are looking for a franchise guy and who might be willing to kind of reach out there to go get them. Do you think that happens, or what's your thoughts on this whole quarterback class as a whole?
Dude, it's a really deep class. And like the guy I always talk about is Penix. Like, I don't know why he's so underrated. It's actually kind of wild. And like, there's always that like Teddy Bridgewater goes late, Lamar goes last in the first round. Who else recently? I mean, Mahomes still went top 12. What do you go, like 10 or something?
Yep.
Yeah, there's always those dudes that go like late first, early second. You're like, how did that happen? Why do we overthink this? And I get like why scouts obviously are digging deep because it's a huge investment, like your job's on the line. But sometimes there's something along the lines of like, don't overthink it. If a dude can play, he could play. And that to me is Penix, bro. Like it should be Caleb 1, Penix 2. Like Penix should clearly go to Washington. Like I haven't seen like that Penix season was on par with that Joe Burrow 2020 season, in my opinion.
You think Commander should take him too?
Yeah, I would. Would you go Jaden over Penix?
I think I would, just because of the injury concern. I think you have to, because I think Penix is mobile, but he's one of the guys that are mobile inside the pocket, but Jaden can create plays outside of it. But I would agree with you that Penix has a better arm, but I think Jaden right now proved that he's a better player, because Penix was going nuts, but so was Jaden Daniels was going really crazy as well in the SEC.
He was. I like Jaden too. I like Jaden. I just think Penix is special, man. And I don't know if y'all saw the Athletic? No, the Players Tribune. He just posted this new article about like the injury. He had a cold line that was like, he goes, I think I would be more concerned if I didn't have the injuries, because not everyone can bounce back from it. I was like, damn, that was cold. Yeah.
He did. He had like 5 like major injuries too, and then he still this last year went off and did what he did. Like it's impressive. If he stays healthy, he's going to be a problem.
There's something about guys too completing NFL throws. Like Penix
so
can sling it. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like you hear sometimes, like in comedy, there's the comic's comic, or like the actor's actor. Like, at least for me being a quarterback, like that's the quarterback's quarterback. Like watching the ball spin from this dude's hand, it's just so pretty. It's like, dude, it's like art. It's literally, it's crazy. Like his craft, the way the ball comes out of his hand is so pretty, man. I'm like, I can't help but like watch it and just be in awe. I'm like, damn, this dude's a baller. So, but it's a good class. It's a good class.
Yeah. Mo, and talking about, because you've experienced it firsthand, and there's a lot of questions, especially when you talk about guys like Drake May and JJ, as far as transitioning into the NFL. What do you think the biggest step is? It could either be mentally, it could be physically. What do you think that biggest transition is from going from college to the NFL as a quarterback?
Oh yeah, not even close. It's mental. I mean, everyone can make the throws. Like you're not getting D1 offers if you can't make the throws. Like your arm talent isn't getting all that better while you're in college, honestly. Like obviously you're gonna get marginally better, but it's mental. It's between the ears, man. Like a college playbook and an NFL playbook are 2 different things. It's 2 different games. If you talk to a player who's made that transition, or a coach, like someone who's been in that, like it's I mean, it's football technically, but it's not the same game. Like you go from almost playing checkers to chess. It's just everything that goes on, pre-snap, the speed of the game, the windows. It's so freaking different, man. And like, I guess to play devil's advocate, there are different offenses geared towards like a more college style system. So like what Lamar is doing in Baltimore is different than, say, what Aaron has done or is doing or something like that, a more traditional pro style. So like there's ways around it, but still, man, the mental part is just so different, bro.
And Mo, thanks for joining us again. I just wanted to get your opinion from a non-Michigan guy. Well, do you think JJ McCarthy is going to live up to the hype? And where do you think the best landing spot is for him?
JJ, I am torn on JJ, man. I feel like he's probably the most divisive prospect. Like you either love him or hate him. Y'all probably have watched a million times more of him than I have. So I'm actually kind of curious to see what you guys think too. But I guess there's something to be said about being a winner. I just saw a stat where he's had 3 losses his entire career, like high school and college, which is kind of nuts. But then again, now the counterpoint is Trevor Lawrence was kind of similar. And I think he's like 20-30 right now in his NFL career. So, and he's also like, there's also something to be said about an it factor. Like the dude's clutch, man. And I know they didn't ask a ton of him, but like when they needed him on a 3rd and long, 3rd and medium, gotta have it passing situations where the offense is dropping dudes in coverage. Like this dude got it done, and he's a special athlete. I think like, so to me, there's the Caleb there's the Jaden and the Penix, like top tier. And those are the dudes that I believe in almost any situation are going to have success. Whether it's winning Super Bowls or being Pro Bowlers at some point in their career, like relative success, regardless of situation. And then there's the tier 2 to me where it's like JJ Drake, maybe Bo, that range of dudes where I think they can also have a lot of success, but it's very dependent on situation. That's the other thing about the league where it's like, it's all about context of staff and surrounding system. That's 90% of your career. Like you can scheme the receiver to be a Pro Bowler who's just as good as a scout team guy somewhere else just because of scheme. Mm-hmm. And so like those guys, tons of talent, but so much of it's going to come down to setting. Like it reminds me of like the Mac Jones conversation, where if Mac was in San Francisco in Purdy's situation, would they be just as good? Would he be a Pro Bowler? Would be an MVP candidate? Probably, Right. And so it's like anyone under that Shanahan style is going to have a lot of success. I kind of view those guys in that light, but.
In Mo too, we talk a lot, at least recently, the Lions do need a wide receiver. And one player that Lukas put me on to, I like him a lot. You know him well. Brennan Rice was at Colorado, transferred to USC. It was Caleb Williams' favorite red zone target. Guy's a beast. We know the heritage, but can you talk a little bit about what Brennan Rice could bring to any NFL team, hopefully the Lions?
B. Rice. That's my guy. Let's see. B's a good route runner, big frame. I'd say deceptive speed. I don't know what his 40 was. I don't know if y'all know that, but for being a big physical guy, he's actually like beating dudes off line of scrimmage on deep balls. Like he has a really good deep ball tape. There's a UCLA deep ball that I can see it in my head. I think he did beat him by like 2-3 yards off line of scrimmage.
Ran a 4.5, by the way.
Okay. 4.5 what?
I think it was a 4.5 flat. I have to double check that.
That's a good time. That's a very good time. Especially if that was laser, that's a very, very good time. Especially for being, I don't know, he's probably like 220 plus. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
Dude, this receiver class is crazy too, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just saw Keon, really good receiver. I just saw Keon Coleman, was it this last weekend or the week before? Dude's big as hell too. I didn't think he was that big. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, why are people sleeping on the Keon too? I feel like there's so many sleepers you could take like second, third, and fourth round who could be really good NFL receivers. And maybe that's why the Chargers got rid of everyone. Maybe they're just going to take a bunch of receivers, but I don't know.
I think so.
Mo, I want to bring this up too, because I know Lukas said that you have a good relationship with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and obviously here in Detroit, that is like, he is the guy here. Everyone loves him here. That is like the golden child of Detroit going like for probably the next 10 years. Want to ask the relationship you had with him, and you probably have seen what he's done to kind of get to where he is now. After this year, he's all-pro player, Pro Bowler now for 2 years. Do you see him kind of just keep taking that step forward and being a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL for like the next 5, 6, 7 years going forward here in Detroit?
Yeah, Amon's a dog, man. Amon's a dog. The thing about Amon is, like you look at him physically, like he's not elite in any one area, but he's very good in a lot of different ones, which is better than just being elite in one area, I would say. Like I had a coach that always told me like, be consistently good, not occasionally great. And that's Amon. And there's also something to be said about being quarterback friendly. Like Goff loves that dude because you can rely on him. Like Amon's like very smart, like football IQ is off the charts, knows where to sit in windows. Not the fastest dude. Again, to my previous point, like he didn't run a good 40. That's why he dropped to, I think he went 4th round.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a big reason why he dropped. Like he just didn't test well. So he's not like that 6'3" dude running a 4.4. But he's so solid in every area required at being wide receiver. And the biggest one, again, is being quarterback friendly, which isn't talked about enough. It's like, do I trust this guy on a third and medium to, it's cover 2. He's sitting in this window. He's not running to get covered. And I know exactly where he's going to be. And I think that's like where Goff sees him. I think that's kind of like, I don't know. It reminds me of the relationship that like Stafford has with like Cooper Kupp or someone like that, where like Cooper's not a Blazer, but they just have that relationship. So, I mean, dude, Amon's getting a crazy amount of targets, and he's good enough to put up those numbers. So, hell yeah. I think he's a top 5 receiver already.
Yeah, and we just talked about Amon-Ra, but Mo, I know you recently just worked out with John Brown, the father of him. And what was that like? Because I know you worked out for the Dolphins like that same week. So after doing that, what was it like working out with John Brown?
He's different.
Do you guys know about John Brown?
He was on Hard Knocks. We got to see.
Yeah, we've heard of him. Yeah, we've seen a few things about him.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Yeah, I think they've got like a few documentaries or something about him. But shoot, I knew John for the past few years because Amon and I lived together for some time. So like John would always like come by and all that. Okay. So Lucas was referring to the workout. So we did a workout with John, and it was the most difficult workout I've done in my entire life. Like I've been playing football since I was 4 or 5 years old, like training all around the world, whatever. It wasn't even close. Like within 5 to 10 minutes, I was on the ground, like damn near throwing up. and no running. This is all just lifting weights, which makes zero sense. I understand. Like if you're listening to this and you're like, this dude sounds stupid, I agree with you. It sounds dumb. But I'm telling you, and I couldn't tap out. I was like, just I had too much pride. So I had to thug it out. But anyways, the next day I wake up and I can't move at all. Like can't extend my arms, just suffering, just pain, all of the above. And then I literally got that very next day I got a call and a text from like the assistant GM for the Dolphins, like, hey, like we want to see you, come in for a workout. And I'm like, I mean, I'm very excited, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, like, how am I going to do this? I physically like don't think I could throw a football right now. And I was with my boy who like canceled all his workouts for the next like 2-3 days. He's like, I can't move. So I'm like, damn, dude, I got to figure this out. It was like one of the biggest opportunities of my life. So I mean, just like the timing didn't work out, and I crushed the workout. I figured it out, but dog, yeah,
absolutely.
But John, man, he's so tough, bro. It's like the mindset part, and you see why his sons were so successful because he just instilled that in them. Like, bro, these kids learn like 3-4 languages, damn near perfect SATs, all went like Ivy League-esque schools, or like, I mean, not Ivy League, but like Notre Dame and Stanford, top schools. SC's a good school. 4.0 GPAs and like 40 offers each. So it's like it all comes from pops, just so much discipline. I was like 20 minutes in, I was about to like walk over to get just to get a sip of water. And the dude looks at me and he's like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna get a sip right now. And he goes, are you dying? I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm not dying. And he's like, good. So just swallow your saliva. I'm like,
I fucking hate when people say that. I hate that.
And it's like, bro, you can't say anything to that. So I'm like, all right, I guess, dude. And I have like the worst cotton mouth of all time. Like I'm just spinning. Dude, I'm like about to throw up. I'm like, damn, dog. Like I gotta figure out another 40 minutes of this. So.
Jesus.
Well, Mo, we got the draft Thursday, obviously. Who's one guy in your mind, absolute steal? Like you're calling your shot, like he's going to be that guy.
Can you say that last part one more time?
I said we got the draft coming up Thursday. Who's a guy that you're just calling your shot? He will be an absolute steal in the draft.
All right, besides Penix, because we already talked about him.
Yeah, besides Penix. It's fair.
A guy in the draft that's going to be an absolute steal. I mean, okay. Well, this is going to be very, very biased, but like I could talk a lot about the SC guys. I've also gotten to know the guys pretty well just from I threw like Miami's pro day Hurricanes recently, like a few weeks ago. And I've just known those guys from like training down here. I'm from Miami. But I'm really high on Cam Kitchens, the safety down here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But his sophomore year, All-American, first team All-American. I don't know how many picks he had, but like I feel like almost every game I watched, this dude's around the ball.
And he's huge too.
He's not huge. He's strong. Are you talking about like height or just weight?
Like he's built.
Oh yeah, he's strong. He's a strong dude. Yeah. He's like I don't know. There's certain dudes who just have a knack for being around the ball, and obviously that's what you want as a safety, free safety. That's just Cam, dude. Like, he's a baller, and what's honestly more impressive is his leadership. Like, as a sophomore, like, Miami's not an easy locker room to handle. Like, these are some dogs down there, and Cam as like an 18, 19-year-old commanding the respect of an entire defense from the Miami Hurricanes. Like, the stories I heard from Cam setting up team meetings on his own, everyone's there on time, like as if like he's the head coach, you know, like no one's messing around. It's like, oh shit, like Cam just called a meeting, like I have to be there 10 minutes early. Like, no one's rolling in late. So I think that's like, dude, the maturity there is really, really fascinating. I was literally just thinking about this earlier. Like, I could see a scenario where like within 3-4 years, like this dude's a top 5 safety, and I really believe it.
Sounds like a Dan Campbell guy.
Honestly, yeah, and the football IQ. So we had him on the podcast too, and like this dude's just a film rat. Like he just lives in the film room. So like the combination of like the work ethic, the leadership, and just the knack for being around the ball. Like, I mean, Cam's that dude, man. Big fan of Cam.
Sounds like a Detroit Lion to me.
Yeah, bring him home. Just bring him home.
Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes type of guy.
Do you guys have a second rounder? Because he might fall to the second.
Yeah, he goes. We have 61. Because I think when I've been seeing him, he's been like late second, third round type of pick. Because I'm trying to think that. Because I've been seeing, as far as safety goes, it's like DeJean number 1 because he's obviously corner right now, but he's projected to move to safety. Then Caleb Bullock.
That's crazy, bro. Because he's white. That's crazy.
Hey, I was gonna say, I'm all for the cracker back. I'm all for the cracker back. For being realistic. But then you got your Caleb Bullock, your boy out of SC, and then it's like Cam Kitchens. That's where I see. That's what I've been seeing. I don't know if that's how it will fall like exactly, but as far as like the pre-draft narrative, that's how it's been. What about Caleb Bullock? What do you think about him?
Yeah, Caleb's really good. He's another dude, just again, knack for being around the ball. He came in as a freshman. We called him Sticks. I mean, we still call him Sticks just from being so skinny. But he came in, bro. Dude probably weighed there's no way he weighed more than 160. Something really? Like that. And like with that height, looked really skinny, you know? Like you could be 160 at like 5'9" and it won't look terrible. But he's like a tall dude, tall, rangy guy. You know, I mean, he was like 17, 18, right? So not faulting him, but we couldn't, and it was a very talented room, you know, it's USC, all top recruits, couldn't leave him off the field just because he was always around the ball. Like somehow just has like a sixth sense of, and I mean, I've asked him about it and I'm not even sure he knows how to explain it. Like he just somehow knows how to be. Like I've heard people talk about Tyrann Mathieu in the same way. I know a few guys that played on the Chiefs and they say the same exact thing. He just has a sixth sense. Like he just knows. It's like freaking the Force from Star Wars or something, bro. Like I don't even know how to explain it. And then like he filled out, like dude's a grinder. Like he knew he was really skinny. So like I would always, anytime I was in the weight room, Kalen was in there, always grinding. He knew he needed to put on weight and he did. He gained a ton of weight. He got way stronger, faster. So he filled out. So yeah, that's another dude who was like an All-American. So I like Kalen. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and again, we appreciate you, Mo. Great stuff. You can check out Mo on his podcast, which he does, and you can check it out. We'll have the link in the description at Momentum Pod on all platforms. Got to have you on again, man. We appreciate.
Yeah, I want to. At some point, Mo said he doesn't know a bunch about JJ McCarthy, so at some point, I would like to break a little bit of down for him for JJ McCarthy.
Oh my god!
Dude, you never told me about JJ. Give it to me, man. Give it to me.
Well,
you don't want to hear.
I want to say this because the argument against JJ McCarthy is he hasn't had the reps and you know and I get that, like he's only passed the ball 17 times a game in his career. I just fall back on this, Mo, and you as a quarterback maybe understand this a little bit. Looking at some of these guys, it's like Michael Penix. Like just look at some of the throws he can make, and when you get to the NFL, can he do that? Can you get him to do that consistently if he's in a good position? I think a lot of people are getting caught up, and he played in a weird offense that was run first at Michigan. So that throws everyone off a little bit. And when you break it down and just look at his arm talent, the athleticism, and then the biggest thing of them all, and some people hate me for saying this, but you kind of brought it up a little too, Mo, about the mental side of the game when it comes to the NFL, like the pace of the game, being able to watch film, being able to make your reads, all of that sort of things. That's JJ McCarthy. Like, he is a guy that mentally, like, he's been moving up draft boards because he's had these meetings at the combine that they're like, this kid, he's got it up here. Like, he's all there. And if you have the arm strength and you're like that in the film room and you're like that in the, when it comes to the weight room and working out, and then on top of that, you have the athleticism, I just don't see how, if he gets in a good position, he fails in the NFL and he ends up being a long-term NFL vet at the quarterback position. That's where I'm at with it, Mo. I don't know if that convinces you at all, but I get a lot of slack here from the guys, and they come at me hard because I believe JJ, if he goes to Minnesota with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson, Kevin O'Connell, I can't see how he fails.
The media glaze, man. That's
just the truth. It's the only reason that people say that the media glazes him is because he didn't have the opportunity to do what Jaden Daniels did at LSU in that offense, or Caleb at USC, or over Penix in Washington. He just didn't. He was in a different offense. It doesn't mean he doesn't have the ability to do what they did.
Well, that's what I was saying. He's in that tier where the fit matters way more than like a Caleb, for instance. Like, that's what you're saying with O'Connell. Like, you've got him calling plays. You've got J.A., my guy Jordan, who's a dog. You got J.J. and Hawk. Like, bro, you're probably going to have success. And he's obviously very talented. But, dude, I saw something where, like, his draft odds have dramatically gone up in favor of going second to Washington. Like, the past 2 days, they've like skyrocketed. I don't know if that's like,
I think it's gone from like plus 2,000 all the way up to, I think, almost like plus 700. I could pull it up now.
Yeah, he might be the second behind Jaden right now. Yeah,
that'd be gross. If you had to make a pick, Mo, gun to your head, are you taking JJ McCarthy or Drake May?
Oh, JJ for sure. Yeah, I like JJ. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. My quarterback. Thank you. I'm with me and Mo. We're lockstep with the quarterbacks here. You're a lockstep right here.
Let's go.
We know
because I've been JJ over Drake May. People think I'm crazy for it, but
no, I don't think you're crazy.
What do I know?
It's just like what Mo just brought up. He's situation dependent, which I don't think is a bad thing. Like, dude, you need a good.
I think a lot of quarterbacks
need good coaching. I don't think that's a bad thing. But to go number 2, like what?
Jeff, a lot of quarterbacks, you have to be in the right position. Like, New England's such a bad position.
Absolutely.
Who's going to go there and like?
But I don't think
like
JJ
you said, you think
can overcome. Right. That's kind of the thing that's how I felt about JJ. I like JJ, but like Mo said, there's certain quarterbacks, and I've told you this, that can overcome any situation. And there's certain guys that, like you brought up with Mac. I mean, Mac in San Francisco versus Mac in New England. It's two different Mac Jones right there. That's how I feel about it.
Jake Coker won a natty, Boone.
Oh,
I mean, come on.
Whoa.
Let's not start
this. We don't
need to go down that road.
AJ McCarron, may I add?
I don't need to go down those roads, man. If JJ gets to Minnesota or even Las Vegas, in my opinion, I think he ends up having a good career and he ends up being fine.
There you go.
And I'll die on that.
You might just die, but we appreciate you, Mo. No, I'm kidding. We appreciate you, Mo. We got to have you on again, my man. Good luck. And guys, check out his pod. He's crushing it. He's getting great interviews. We'll have the link in the description, but we'll catch you next time, Mo.
Appreciate you, Mo.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate y'all, boys. That was fun, man.
Yes, sir. There you go. Mo Hasan, the man, the myth, the legend. Host of the Momentum Pod, which, Lucas, you're out here. You gave us the connection there with Mo. He's a great guest. He's awesome.
He's awesome, for sure.
Certainly knows a lot of people, and knows a lot of Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you love that, JJ.
I mean, it's just crazy that you guys. I've been telling you guys JJ over Drake May, and I just get blasted for it. Just blasted. Oh, Drake May. How is JJ over? I get blasted for it. And then a quarterback that's in the NFL, give me JJ McCarthy over Drake May. Thank you.
Well, who's blasting you for that?
I mean, when I said I want JJ over
Twitter.
Drake May,
I got killed. Don't you say Twitter?
I got killed. You guys do kill me for the JJ stuff. Let's be honest. So we don't have to beat around the bush here. You guys kill me for that.
No, we don't have to beat around the bush here.
I mean, let's not play dumb.
I think
you are higher on JJ than we are, yes. But I don't kill you for it.
I think, Booner, where you overreact and say that it's like we're anti-Michigan, That's where all that's where
I didn't say that once this show. Didn't say that once yet.
You did.
There are a lot of people though that are anti-machine.
Did not. I haven't said that in a little while.
Yes,
and to Adam's point, he said one guy agreeing with you doesn't validate what you say. I agree with that, but that's just someone who, as well, same kind of concept. I think the best part that he said too, honestly, when it comes to it, was what's the biggest leap from college to NFL, and I think a lot of it, like he said, is mental. And I am a little sold a little bit on Caleb Williams as well. The fact that because typically like a guy like Caleb Williams, you see like that people are putting out the issues and he's doing this, he's this, he's that, he's this. You get to talk to a guy like Mo who's actually spoken with Caleb and has a relationship with him to where it's, for me at least, it's more comfortable knowing that he just doesn't care about what people say and he's just going to do him. I like that. Like that makes me a little more comfortable saying Caleb's going to be that good because I know that now. Because before, when you just look at it from an outside in, you don't know what's going on. You're like, what is this guy doing? He just doesn't care. And he's so locked in and he's so like focused on his own thing that he doesn't care about all that stuff. So that's where the Caleb stuff, that was a lot of understanding. But the mental thing going from the NFL or from college to the NFL, to hear that instantly, the first thing that pops in my head is a JJ McCarthy who mentally, like, yeah, people want to, like, Adam texts me every day, oh, JJ, he does yoga, he meditates. mental. What is the number one thing, Jeff, that they talked about out of the combine? What's the number one thing they talked? No. What's the number one thing talked about JJ McCarthy coming out of the combine?
No.
He's great in the classroom and making reads and doing things like that. What did Mo say? The number one jump from college to the NFL is mental and making the reads because the game is different on the field. And if you can do that stuff, you're going to be good. That is what JJ is good at.
What happened before Adam said that?
I don't know. I don't know. That was what he said.
Of course you don't. It doesn't fit your narrative. But you mentioned Caleb Williams' nail polish. That's why you mentioned you went after the nail polish. Which you just
now
left
I understand.
That out.
Now I understand with Mo. Mo broke it down. You just did that to me, and I just admitted to you that I was wrong about.
No, you're like you were like he just came at him for the meditating.
He didn't come at. I didn't say he came at me. I'm just saying that's like a narrative with JJ. You just tried to shoot. You just tried to take me down for no reason. You just tried to take me down. For no reason.
I was trying to providing context.
That was unbelievable by you, Jeff. Unbelievable by you. That was just
that
was unbelievable. All right, let's keep going. Unbelievable.
You just said he went at Jay, or he was saying about.
That's obvious. We know Adam's in the chat all the time saying stuff about how he does yoga and about how he meditates and laughs about it.
He was fucking with you though. You know what I mean?
But it's a serious thing. That's something that we have conversations about. Is like, does that actually help? Mo just said,
I agree.
College to the NFL, that helps. That was my point. Didn't have to take me down there. That was my point. I was actually making a good point.
We do this thing in our group chat. We come at it. We troll each other. You're trolling me about Caleb. You're trolling you about JJ. It's just all. It's
fun
all
time. Now that jump though, I do think that's good for JJ to hear that that's the jump, because if you can do that in the classroom, and Adam said like Baker was good in the classroom. Baker's now is he a 10, 11-year NFL vet, and obviously he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he's been. And I know Pro Bowls don't mean anything anymore, but he's had a solid career. So that's where I'm at a little bit, to where I'm not sitting here saying JJ is going to be an MVP of the NFL, but I think he can go out there and have a good career if he's in the right position. And that's the one thing, is mentally and in the classroom, but in the film room and I'm making reads. That's a huge thing. And the fact that JJ has that, I think that's a pretty good advantage. And that's like, if that's the thing that's taking you and pushing you up, I would like to see like this whole Zach Wilson comparison to JJ. How was Zach Wilson at the combine in the film room? I would love to know that. I haven't done my research, so I will, but
yeah, there's and I do agree with you on that. And Mo was obviously confirmed it, right? Between the years, that's what matters. So JJ, he's a smart dude. But I think we had a moment there, Boone, where we got closer to peace when he mentioned overcoming a bad situation, which is something that me and I think Lukas, I don't want to speak for you, but we've said about JJ. It's not that we hate him. It's just that he isn't on the tier where like Caleb, and I think maybe Jaden, you could argue there too, where it's like, put him in any fucking situation. Like you mentioned, remember you said one time, put Caleb in New England. Okay, do it. He'd be fine. He'd struggle more, but I think long-term he'd be fine. JJ, it is on situation. That's why you always bring up the point Minnesota, which I do agree with you on, Boone. I do. If Minnesota's a great situation, I just
want to know, we have a new quarterback guru, Adam Baydoun, quarterback guru. What's his name? Who's the coach that does all those videos on ESPN? Who is that? Gruden. Gruden's quarterback. Yeah. Adam should start doing that for quarterbacks because that man is a quarterback guru. Let me tell you that.
Yeah. I love that. All right, we'll get mailbag. So if you got questions, we'll we got about 10 minutes here, so we'll finish it out.
That was a fun.
That
was a good interview. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, appreciate you, Lucas, for that, man. Thanks, Lucas.
Yeah. Definitely support Mo too because I fucking work my ass off for that little fucking podcast. Not a little podcast, but the clips I make clips for him. So make sure you support that for sure.
Yeah, because you're not just supporting Mo, you're supporting Lucas, and he's you never know what to expect. He's chill dude.
Yeah, he's super cool. That's why I like working for him.
Yeah, cool dude.
Super chill about everything.
Ed asked Mailbag, who is Lucas Van Ness / Will McDonald of this draft? A player should go in the second that goes in the middle of the first.
If we're talking strictly like defensive ends, I mean, if Chop Robinson goes, I'd say him, but I don't know. I don't know. If you're going not defensive ends, go ahead, Bill.
I saw on an article today, and I didn't think about it, but a Junior Colson. And I know it's a Michigan guy. This is just not me saying it's a Michigan guy, but this is a name I've been seeing thrown out. That's a second-round guy, and he's starting to get a lot of looks from teams to kind of make a jump. And I know he's a linebacker, but to kind of make that jump into the first round, that is going to shock a lot of people. And I have heard like a Junior Colson name get thrown around there as a guy who's a second-round guy to keep an eye on to go jump all the way up to the first come Thursday night. So that would be my guy there.
That's a good one. Okay. Will McDonald. Lucas Van Ness, that's good. And Junior Colson fits right in there, Boone, because like that's a guy that will be like, what? You know?
Shocking.
Not that he's not good, but yeah.
The fact that those rumors are circulating, there's an chance for that.
JC fucking Latham, throw him in the mix for sure.
He's not a second round pick.
Yeah, he might be a fifth.
I think the time will come in the first round or when the draft comes, and there'll be that guy, and you'll be like, that's the Will McDonald of this draft. This guy should not have gone this early. I think it'll just come. I don't know who the exact player is, but someone's going to reach on someone.
Maybe Fashanu.
Oh, no. Hold on. Rewind.
No. Yeah.
Lucas Van Ness didn't even start, and Will McDonald came out of left field. JC Latham, people know he's one of the best tackles in the class. Like, that's not like.
Some would say the opposite.
Who's a guy that you don't ever see in the first round mock draft ever that you think could jump into the first? That's my thought process.
Jalen Polk.
I've only seen him once in a mock draft all offseason. Go
crazy
32.
to say, fellas, but Max Melton.
Good one. You know who I'm surprised you haven't said yet either? Mike Sanders still?
Yeah, but I've been calling that. That's been my shot, Boone. I've been saying that.
He's a projected second round guy. So.
You guys still got that bet though.
26, 27, or 28, 28 and a half. 28 and a half. Yep. Because if the Lions pick him, I win. That's a good bet. You think he goes under? I think he goes over.
All right, we'll go Drew's then, Jesse. Drew says, how many quarterbacks go in the first round? Oh, here we go. This one will.
I say five.
Boone and Lotzie.
No, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say 5. But I think there's a chance 6 goes. The Bo Nix situation is really interesting to me. I think Michael Penix is a lock in the first, just based off like all of the sports books. But the Bo Nix one is like, if there's a team in the back half of this first round who is very clearly needs a quarterback, like say the Broncos miss out on a guy, or even the Raiders miss out on a guy, even like the Giants, that's where I think a team may trade back into the first if they need to get a quarterback and they feel like they like Bo Nix. I just don't. He's the wild card to me. As we get closer to the draft, I feel like he ends up being a day 2 guy. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's all 6. But I think Michael Penix is a lock in the first round. I think
I'm
5
going
go.
I'm going 6. I'm going 6.
You think the Bo Nix is a lock?
Yeah.
Let's throw lunch on it, Jeff.
Okay, fine.
Throw lunch on it.
Let's do it.
I'm glad I didn't have to do another lunch here. That was my hot take
a
week
Lucas.
ago.
The only other one was in 1983 when Dan Marino, John Elway, and who was the other one? Jim Kelly. And then there's 3 just absolute bums.
Yep.
This is not that class.
Who would have known?
41 years later.
The quarterback.
6 go again.
The quarterback guru has spoken. 4 quarterbacks minimum. The quarterback guru has spoken. 4 quarterbacks minimum. He
I
has
feel like
spoken.
that's not saying a lot, though.
I know when,
like,
when quarterback guru, I'm like, wait, who? And then he's okay, John Gruden. That's I think
Adam,
6 go. Right?
Adam Gruden.
Denver takes Bo. Las Vegas either takes Penix or they trade back and take Penix.
I'm with you on that. I think 5. I think 5 is an absolute lock. I think 6 we see happen.
Hartman.
Wait.
You're gonna be a New York Jet.
Yeah.
Oh no.
6, Jeff. Jeff, me and you let's stay with 6 together.
I had to count. I'm like, yeah.
Losers mentality. Losers mentality.
Jeff.
You guys are you're caught so much in this recency bias of this mock draft world.
No, we're getting 6.
No.
We're getting 6 quarterbacks Thursday.
A GM is not going to bank his soul on Bo Nix in the first round and/or Michael Penix.
You'll see.
In Denver.
I don't know if you want to bank on it, but I think some teams need a guy. You
got to think. Denver doesn't pick till like the 3rd round. So if they don't take one in the first, they ain't getting one at all.
Carolina's trying to move up. They're sitting at 33 and 39.
Doesn't fit my narrative.
Yeah.
Jesse Adams, Mailbag. Rank these draft scenarios 1 through 3. 1, move up to 15 to 19 to get Verse/Latu. 2, move up to 14 to 21 to get Quinion Mitchell. I don't know, 14 maybe. 3, take Leggette/AD Mitchell/Zach Frazier at 29. The 3rd one is my 3rd. So
some would say.
Honestly,
I'm going 2. I'm going 2.
Give me Quinion. I'll take Quinion.
Yeah, I'll go 2-1-3. 2-1-3 in order.
Yeah, I would as well.
2-1-3.
Those are the best players.
Wow,
Yep.
Klotz went 3 last.
Those are the best players, but hey, I'm not ignorant.
It's fair.
I could be stupid sometimes, but I'm not ignorant.
Can we have this conversation real quick as well? How many of these quarterbacks will be good and great out of the 6? And I was looking at, it's not going to be a lot. And I was thinking this as well today. And like Klotz just put 2 up there. I think this is what's going to happen. Oh, whoa.
You're an avid Caleb Williams fan.
And, yeah. Tell me if you guys agree with this or not.
The hell was that?
I think there's going to be one quarterback, maybe 2 that end up being great. And I think that could be like a Caleb Williams. Obviously, I think we could say he could be a great quarterback. And then I think you could sit there and say, out of the 3 guys, to me, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, or JJ McCarthy could have that opportunity, if whatever position you get into, to take that step as well and be really good. And then I think there's just like the maybe 2, you could maybe say 3 of those guys end up being just good, like good quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think that's out of those 3 guys I named. And I think I would throw Michael Penix in there to have a chance to be good in the NFL. Say he goes to Las Vegas with Devontae Adams and that crew. That's where kind of I'm at. I don't think it's going to go like just because we're saying in Klotz, we had this conversation over text. Just because we're saying 6 quarterbacks are going in the first round doesn't mean Jeff and I believe there's going to be 6 quarterbacks that are really good in this class. I still think when you draft 6 quarterbacks,
that an NFL GM thinking that.
Yeah, but Klotz, be realistic. People draft quarterbacks every year in the first, and they don't know who's going to be good.
Be realistic.
There's 5 quarterbacks that get taken all the time.
Be realistic. When there's one draft in the history of the NFL that has happened on.
I'm not doing this argument with you because it's just you're just like smiling and like
it will
it's
be
not, it's not
I gotta be angry.
It will
no,
be
it's just like you're not being realistic. Like GMs draft quarterbacks. It's gonna happen.
There's 6 quarterbacks that can be taken in the first round. That doesn't mean that 6 are going to be taken.
It's looking like 6 will be taken.
We're going into the draft last year. Will Levis, top 5 pick, 3rd round pick.
That's
you can
one
see the
guy.
same thing with Michael Penix. You can see the same thing with Bo Nix.
I think you could say the same thing with Bo Nix. I think from what we've heard, Michael Penix is going to be a first-round quarterback.
And we could say that now, but there's a very real possibility that he falls. You never know.
If I'm being real, I don't know if this is a hot take. I think there's only one great quarterback, and that's Caleb.
I think
if I put my life on it, I would say Caleb Williams, and I would move on. Good quarterbacks that could have good careers. I would say out of those 4 guys, like Michael Penix, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and JJ, I would say 2 out of the 4 of them, statistically, 2 out of the 4 of those guys are going to be good quarterbacks in the NFL and have a good career.
I would agree with that.
That's where I'm at with it. And I get it. Why would you draft a quarterback if you don't know they're going to be great or good? Why is there 5 quarterbacks off the board every 4 years in the NFL? Why did the Steelers take Kenny Pickett? I don't know. But guess what my job? Guess what my job to do, Adam, is to say what we think is going to happen with these teams. And when teams need quarterbacks, they take quarterbacks.
That's true, though. That is true. That he's
quarterback
right.
in the first round all the time, and they're terrible. You could say kill me. You could do all that you want, and you could try and act like the quarterback guru. You obviously aren't, because there's quarterbacks taken in the first round every year statistically and don't end up being good. So sit down, hop off the high horse, and listen to what I'm saying to you.
And to answer Arthur, he says, what's the definition of great? Is Kirk Cousins' career been great? I think he's good. I think great is like Mahomes, Burrow, like, really Mahomes.
Burrow.
No, yeah, I would give Burrow that. He made a Super Bowl. I think that's the level of great, like contending,
even like Jared Goff
winning a Super Bowl.
Jared Goff, good. That's a good career. He's having a good career.
Oh, good, yeah.
Yeah, he's good career, which is not bad. I mean, dude, I think people sometimes get that as like an insult. That's great, dude. If you can have a good career,
a good career in the NFL as a quarterback, you can win a Super Bowl off a good career. You can go to a Super Bowl. You can be Pro Bowler. That's good. Great is just a different level, man.
Real quick, I got to give a shout out Dante151. Thank you for the $10. He donated while we were doing our betting segment there. He said Lions released a teaser video short on their YouTube channel. Also, Mark Canna is a low-key great signing so far for the Tigers, because he's now at 5 home runs with a solo shot in the 8th. Well, Dante151, we appreciate the love there. And I got to check out that video on the Lions channel. I did not even know that. They put out a short. And also, shout out to the Tigers, man. They're actually, it makes the Pistons look that much worse. But regardless, we'll get out of here. What a great show. Thank you to all the guests. Mo Hasan, Kory Woods, 2 great guests. Tomorrow we'll have Wednesdays with John McEnroe, the doc. And
it's like our pregame show tomorrow. That's like our pregame show tomorrow.
Yeah, essentially
Big
it
day.
is. And we're going to get, hopefully, maybe Scott Bischoff. I'm going to reach out. Maybe we can get the Scott Bischoff on tomorrow, too. We'll have 2 guests.
He can talk. 29.
He can feed Lucas's ego. But we'll get out of here. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget, get your tickets. If you're not going to order them, you can get a VIP pass and get a wristband. That's okay. You could still go down to bookies and get in, pay cover, significantly cheaper. You won't get all the benefits that come with the ticket, but you could still come in and hang out with the fellas. But what's up, Boo?
Hey, real quick, don't forget as well, right now on all of our socials, we'll actually just Twitter and Instagram. You can see it above there. Up until Thursday, until our draft show, I think we're going to announce it on our draft show. There's going to our giveaway. We're giving away a Detroit Lions New Jersey. It'll be any player or any color scheme that is available on the website when we do end up getting it. Go do it. A lot of you guys are already subscribed. Just go there. I think you just have to retweet the tweet, like the tweet, and same with the Instagram. You just have to tag someone and make sure you're subscribed and following. So
tell a friend.
Chance for a free jersey and help grow the program too.
Absolutely. Grow the socials. Tell a friend. Like what we say, tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. That's how it works. All right. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Love you guys, man.
Hey, bless. Deuces.